I don't know about you, but my heart rate is already starting to thump. It might be the hot chocolate Sparrow coffee in me, or maybe it's because Orleans and Wareham, who have had a couple of walk-off battles this summer, are doing battle tonight from Eldredge Park. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Scorching Start on the Birds Broadcast Network. Ian Nicholas, Dylan Pescatore here to see if the Firebirds can snap a bit of a funk. 2 losses in a row for the Birds for their last 5 losses. But Dylan, the last 2 times that Orleans and Wareham have matched up, it's been 1 win, 1 loss for Orleans in 2 unbelievable walk-offs.
You're right. Johnny Olmsted had the walk-off here at Eldredge back on the 2nd. On the 15th, it was Wareham's Bobby Bozer with the walk-off single. These 2 teams, it's just they play great games when they match up with each other. Hopefully we have another one here tonight. But for the Firebirds standpoint, hopefully it's one where there's a lot of runs scored. They need this offense to wake up.
They do. I mean, plain and simple, shut out for just the 3rd time all season yesterday in a 5-0 loss to YD, outscored by 11 runs in their last 2 games against the Red Sox on Sunday and Monday. But Dylan, the offensive woes going back a little bit farther for Kelly Nicholson's crew.
Yeah, it's been 4 games now where they've left 8 or more runners on base, and it's not like they're getting dominated. They're not striking out 15 times and only getting 2 hits. They're getting their hits. Yesterday against YD, they had 10 hits. They couldn't bring a runner home. It's all about situational hitting with runners in scoring position. That's what's been the problem and something that they try to fix today against Wareham.
And somebody who's been sensational all week long, but has cooled off as of late, Joe Oyama, just named the CCBL's Player of the Week, but Dylan 0 for 8 in his last 2 games. How important is it for him at the top of the order to set the tone for the entirety of a struggling offense? Yeah,
he drives the offense for the Firebirds, getting on base early in games, finding ways to move around, stealing bases, moving through the bases, and playing just so smartly. I think he leads this team in terms of fundamentals. When Joe Oyama goes, the rest of the Firebirds go, and that's what we've seen all season.
Joe Oyama, one All-Star. That's been the engine offensively, the engine for the pitching staff, Derek Clark. And the 3rd member of our crew, Sammy Miller, talks about today's starting pitcher.
Tonight's starter on the mound for the Firebirds is Derek Clark, who has been one of the best stories all summer long. Now, most guys in this league come from big Division I schools. Well, that isn't the case for Derek Clark. He's coming from a smaller Division II school, Northwood University, where he really developed that toughness and that pit bull mentality that a lot of players out here don't really have. He told me that he's not afraid of anyone who comes onto the plate, and he doesn't care where they come from or what accolades they have. The only thing that he's focusing on is how he is going to strike them out and how he's going to move on to the next guy. That mentality definitely has been working out for him. He has the 2nd best ERA in this entire league and was also named to be an All-Star. And I don't think that mindset is shifting anytime soon when he heads over to West Virginia, and especially not tonight against the Wareham Gatemen. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Sammy. Everybody here from Eldredge, super excited to see what Derek Clark can do in his 2nd start at home on the summer. Now going from somebody with a super heart to somebody coming off a super regional appearance. Chase Loomis from Texas, out of a bullpen yesterday, had 2 shutout frames. He could be a key piece out of a bullpen for Kelly Nicholson moving forward. And right now, he's a key piece of a scorching start. Dylan, you've got him right now.
Thanks, Ian. Dylan Pescatore here in nature with Chase Loomis, left-handed pitcher out of Texas and a reliever for the Firebirds. Chase, 2 scoreless innings yesterday against YD. How are you feeling out there on the mound?
I felt pretty good. Throwing 3 pitches for strikes and multiple counts. It's always good, keeping the hitters off balance and just filling the zone.
Your start to the summer has been a little bit of a struggle coming out of the bullpen, but how do you feel with more reps getting into this summer? You've been getting better.
Yeah, I think part of it's just getting your feet wet, seeing some results, building some confidence, putting in the work, on your down days and figuring it out.
How have you felt joining a summer ball team and playing with guys from all different Division I, Division II programs has been good for camaraderie and just making new friends?
Yeah, no, it's been awesome. This is obviously a great league to play in, a lot of great talent. It's a great group of guys, played against a few of them, but I didn't know anyone on this team coming into it, so it's been awesome to make a couple new friends.
Any success against some of the guys?
No, not any of the guys on our team, no.
So looking around the league, the Gatemen are in town today against the Firebirds, a 6:30 first pitch. Chase Loomis, reliever for Texas, also for the Firebirds. How has it been coming out of the bullpen and learning the new arms that have been rotating day in, day out for the Firebirds?
It's been awesome. New guys are leaving, new guys are showing up, so it's awesome to see new guys come in and just, take it in stride and go out there and compete.
The Firebirds are 2nd in the East Division right now, right behind YD. What do you think the potential is for this group and this pitching staff as a whole?
I mean, I think this team can can win. I think that we can take this as far as we want to take it. Just putting all the pieces together at the right time, playing the game, pitching, defense, offense all at the same time would be key.
Putting the pieces together, he's a big piece of the bullpen. Back to you, Ian.
Dylan, thanks so much. Chase could be a key part of a bullpen that looks so much different than it did at the start of the season, but still a team with the third best ERA across the league, New Orleans Firebirds. The Firebirds trying to pick up a win for the first time in 3 games against the struggling Wareham Gatemen crew. 6:30, first pitch. This is all we've got for you on the scorching start, but stay tuned between Orleans and Wareham right here from Eldredge Park.
I'm ready to have a great camera job.
The next singer is Dan Powers. Dan is a local singer, actor, and amateur photographer. He's also a foreign consultant with the Department of Cape Cod and Orleans and Hyannis. Please welcome Dan Powers. Take it away, Dan.
Say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Just moments away from first pitch from a beautiful night at Eldredge Park, 81 degrees and sunny, as the Firebirds, losers of 4 of their last 5, try to get back to 500 against a team that just won its second road game of the season in the Wareham Gatemen yesterday against the Bourne Braves from Durham Park. Thanks so much for joining us on the Birds Broadcast Network. Ian Nicholas, Dylan Pescatore on the call. Let's start with a look at Wareham's lineup, Dylan. A lineup that on the season has produced the 6th most runs in the league, but is averaging just around 3 runs per game over its last 9.
They've been struggling the past week or so, like you said. J.C. Cologne leads off. He plays shortstop. Batting second, the center fielder, Bobby Bozer. Batting third, the third baseman out of Kansas, Michael Brooks. Batting fourth, the left fielder, Grant Sherrod. Batting fifth, another Grant, the first baseman, Grant Hussey. Batting sixth, Bayram Hott. His first game with the Gatemen, the first game of the Cape Cod Baseball League. At second, batting seventh is Dorian Gonzalez. Batting eighth is the catcher, Yadi Hernandez. And batting ninth out of UConn is the right fielder, Corey Morton.
A couple all-stars in that lineup for Ryan Smythe's team, including Bobby Bozer, who walked off Orleans on the 15th of the month from Spillane Field in a 5-4 loss for Orleans. Meanwhile, let's take a look at the defense around starting pitcher Derek Clark tonight. Clark, an unbelievable summer so far, the second lowest ERA in the league. But defense for Dylan, the defense has to support him tonight if he wants to have a successful second start of the season.
Yes, it does. And you have Micheletti in left field, Eddie King playing center, Colin Tufton right. From third to first, it's Stallman, Penny, Oyama, and Hallback. Doing the catching tonight is Henry Hunter.
That's the defense for Kelly Nicholson's crew. 17-18 on the year. The Firebirds only 1-2 this season against the Gatemen. Each of their last 2 games against Wareham have ended in walk-off fashion. Orleans walked off Wareham on the 2nd of a month right here from Eldredge Park. Derek Clark delivers a first pitch strike to J.C. Cologne, for shortstop heading into his junior season at Missouri. 0-1. Clark has been sensational this summer. Just finished up his junior season at Northwood University, a Division II school in Michigan, where he was born and raised, transferring to West Virginia next year. Cologne popped up on the 1-1 in foul territory as Matt Hallback, making his 14th consecutive start at first base. He puts away Cologne on just a couple pitches, and a great start for somebody who's making his second start, and his first, Dylan, was fantastic against Brewster 8 days ago.
Yes, against Brewster. The only hiccup he had was a solo shot by Brock Tibbetts in the 4th inning. Other than that, it was smooth sailing for Derek Clark. 5 hits allowed in 7 innings. The best performance from the starting pitcher for the Firebirds and maybe the league.
First pitch swinging. Bobby Bozer pops one on the left. Eddie Micheletti and Jack Penny look at it along the line. Penny in foul territory snags it. 2 up, 2 down, 2 outs, both via foul outs. First, J.C. Cologne of the first base side, and another All-Star. Jack Penny secures that one in foul territory against fellow All-Star Bobby Bozer. Here comes the third baseman from Kansas, and Michael Brooks, who made his Cape League debut on the 15th of the month from Spillane Field against Orleans, and in his first at-bat, hit a home run. He goes behind 0-1.
It was a sweet start to his Cape Cod Baseball League debut with that homer against Orleans into the left field bleachers at Spillane Field. But the Firebirds looking to keep him calm tonight.
He's been relatively calm ever since that 2-hit performance in his debut. As Clark delivers a strike, gets ahead 0-2 with 2 outs and nobody on here in the first. Brooks just 4 for 25 through 7 games here on the Cape. The 0-2 from Clark. Swing and a miss. The All-Star continues to shine on a bright night from Orleans. He goes 1-2-3 in the top of the first. It only takes him 7 pitches to do so. And the Birds try to give him some run support when we come back in the bottom of the inning on the Birds Broadcast Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Eldredge Park. This is a very important safety announcement. No matter how tempting it is, do not cross Route 28 for foul balls. This is a busy state highway. It's private property on the other side of the road, and the drivers are paying more.
Back on the Birds Broadcast Network in the bottom of the first inning. Thanks so much for joining us. Ian Nicholas, Dylan Pescatore on the call. Dylan, the Firebirds trying to take advantage of a great starter on the mound with Derek Clark. The starting pitching hasn't been fantastic lately, but the offense has also struggled a little bit as of late. Third shutout of the season yesterday on the road against YD, but let's look at the group that hopes to get it back on track tonight offensively.
Yeah, the starting 9 for the Firebirds starts with Joe Oyama. Check that, Drew Farrow batting second for the Birds. He's DHing. Jack Penny hitting third. Matt Hallback playing first in the cleanup spot. Eddie Micheletti in left field batting fifth. Eddie King Jr. batting sixth in center. Brandon Salman at third. He bats seventh. Colin Tuft plays right, batting eighth. And Henry Hunter does the catching, and he'll wrap up the order batting ninth.
This order for Kelly Nicholson is going to face a familiar face and a Cape League All-Star, the rising junior out of Louisville, right-handed hurler Will Koger. Last time he pitched against Orleans, he surrendered on July 2nd, the unearned game-winning run in a walk-off win for the Firebirds. Johnny Olmstead, formerly of the Firebirds, drafted by the Miami Marlins a couple weeks ago, hit a ground ball to second that got by the glove of Dorian Gonzalez, who committed the game-losing error for Wareham. But overall, Koger's been great this summer. A 4.33 ERA in just under 19 innings pitched. It's his 10th appearance and second start for the Gatemen, and he faces somebody who's been sensational, the latest Cape Cod Baseball League Player of the Week in UC Irvine's Joe Oyama. Koger's first pitch misses inside 1-0.
You can tell over these past two games, Oyama doesn't have a hit. And the Firebirds offense goes as Joe Oyama goes. He drives the bus.
0 for 8 in his last 2 games, both against YD. Takes for another ball, 2-0. It's just the second time all season that the native of Japan has gone 2 games without a hit. You'd have to go all the way back to June 30th, the last time that Oyama did that. Very rare. Launches this one high in the air to right. Backing up, looking at it, gone! Corey Morton just had to stare at that laser beam from Joe Oyama, who's got his 3rd home run in the last week. There's a reason why he's the Cape Cod Baseball League's Player of the Week. He makes it 1-0 Orleans.
That's how you want to start it. Joe Oyama with 2 home runs last Friday in a doubleheader against Chatham. Hit it to the same spot in right center field, and he knew this one. He was jogging out of the box because he knew he hit it far enough. What a start for the Firebirds. A really good one with how the offense has been playing.
Over the last week, Joe Oyama was slugging over 900, large in part because of those 2 home runs against Chatham on Friday. Make it 3 on the season for Oyama as he breaks that 0 for 8 skid in style here against Will Koger and company. Batting second is the rising sophomore transferring to Florida State, the designated hitter Drew Farreau, who pokes a pitch foul to left and goes behind 0-2. Finally, some run support, Dylan, after a great 1-2-3 inning from Derek Clark. Orleans has needed some more big hits in this recent 5-game skid.
And that's exactly how you draw it up. You need some good starting pitching. You get it. 7 pitch first by Clark, and then a leadoff homer.
Farreau, another foul ball. Still behind 0-2. The Tallahassee, Florida native has not played in the last 4 days. His latest appearance went 0 for 2 with a strikeout in a win during that doubleheader against Chatham, the second leg of that doubleheader. He's had a great month of July, though. Koger's 0-2. Misses up and away. In the first month of the season, Farreau hit 192, only drove in 2 runs. But in the month of July, he's hit just under 290 and driven in 6.
It's been a whole different player for Farreau, and he's so young. He just finished his freshman year of school. For him to have this maturity to learn and grow this summer, it's been huge.
Farreau just finished up that freshman season at the University of Central Florida. Like you said, only 19 years old. Had a great freshman season. Hit .252 with 15 home runs and over 50 runs driven in. 2 balls, 2 strikes. That one is smacked but foul the other way to left. A good at bat for Drew Farreau after the solo shot to right for Joe Oyama to make it 1-0 Orleans. First home run for the Firebirds since Oyama hit 2 in 2 games against Chatham late last week. Koger's last appearance headed into tonight came against the A's. It was a really good one. Pitched 3 1/3 8 days ago against the Anglers. Struck out 7. All of his outs via the strikeout. Didn't give up a run. One of 6 All-Stars for the Gatemen this season. The payoff. Launched right to second. Gonzalez fields, fires the first over to Grant Hussey for the out. We just mentioned 2 guys playing in the infield for Wareham. But how about we get a look at the entirety of a defensive alignment for the Gatemen tonight. Will Koger on the mound, making his second start of the summer. Yadi Hernandez behind the dish from Missouri. Grant Hussey, the all-star first baseman from West Virginia. Dorian Gonzalez at second from Miami. Michael Brooks at third from Kansas. J.C. Colon from Missouri at short. Grant Sherrod, Bobby Bozer, and Corey Morton make up the outfield, going from left to right. Jack Penny, swing and a miss. He'll fall behind 0-1. The rising junior from Notre Dame.
Penny has really taken over the starting shortstop position for the Firebirds here in the last few days and expects it to continue.
Check swing. Got the knob of the bat. He falls behind 0-2.
He'll also most likely, if all goes well, be the starting shortstop over at Notre Dame, like you said, Ian, in the fall and the spring season. Not a bad guy to have at shortstop in Jack Penny. He's also played third this season for the Firebirds. He's done great at both.
The 0-2. On the outside corner, a miss for ball one. Started at third for the East Division All-Star team on Saturday, although primarily in college with the Fighting Irish, where he just finished up his sophomore season. He was a shortstop. Brandon Stallman, his bat's really hot, and that's why he's at third as of late, and Penny slid over to short. The 1-2, also a miss on the outside corner for ball two.
You know, they say the hot bat plays. You're going to find your way in the lineup if you continue to hit, no matter what type of defensive position you play. And that's what happens with Brandon Stallman. He's gotten hot. Penny's still been really good. They both stay in the lineup because they've been hitting.
Penny, a foul ball to left. Penny's really been hitting as of late. Bit of a slow start to the season. In his first 21 games, only hitting .230 with 6 runs driven in. But over his last 12, he's looked like an all-star starter, hitting just under .360 with the same amount of runs driven in 9 less games. Had a hit yesterday, 1 of 10, in the 5-0 loss to YD. Smokes this pitch to right. Looking up at it once again is Corey Morton. He makes the catch for the second out of the inning. Couple hard hit balls to right today. The first from Joe Oyama made its way over the wall for the UC Irvine Anteaters' third home run in the last week. That one, though, snagged by the UConn Husky.
Another good piece of contact by the Firebirds lineup. They had 10 hits last night against YD. It just couldn't bring a run across, and that's been the problem over the past 5 or so games.
Matt Hallback, an all-star from UC San Diego, takes a strike. 0-1. That has been a big issue for Orleans as of late, leaving base runners stranded. They've left at least 8 base runners stranded in each of the last 5 games. Chopped fair, charging from third, throwing to first in time. A hookup between Michael Brooks and Grant Hussey ends the inning. A quiet inning after a leadoff solo shot from Joe Oyama. The Cape League's player of the week, continuing to prove why he is one of the best players in the league. He gets to Will Koger early. He's not rattled. He retires 3 in a row to keep it a 1-0 game after 1 here on the Birds Broadcast Network.
You gotta have one of the best attendances in the league. Remember you had Clark?
Leading up for Wareham, the left fielder from the University of South Carolina Upstate, number 4, Grant Sherrod.
Back on the Birds Broadcast Network, it's an absolutely packed night on a beautiful night from Eldredge Park. And a beautiful start for Derek Clark, the future West Virginia Mountaineer. Went 1-2-3 in the first inning, ended it with a strikeout of Michael Brooks, did it on only 7 pitches. Trying to do the same against 4-5-6 in the Wareham order. It starts with the left fielder from USC Upstate, Grant Sherrod.
Yeah, I got you.
The 0-1 is down the line and foul towards left. He'll quickly go behind 0-2. Hitting .207 on the summer for Wareham across 9 games. 6 for 29 from the plate with a home run and 3 runs driven in.
What a find from a school that you wouldn't think has top baseball recruits in South Carolina Upstate. Grant Hussey has been so good, along with Sherrod. These two in the middle of the order have really encapsulated the Gatemen offense.
Well, how cool is it going to be for Derek Clark, who's transferring to West Virginia and an all-star, to face off with the man on deck, and Grant Hussey, the West Virginia Mountaineers' future collegiate teammate. Maybe getting a little too ahead of ourselves.
Fall ball preview.
You would have captured it.
The 2-2.
What'd
Swing and a miss. Derek Clark is going to bring some heat to fall ball in West Virginia. That's back-to-back strikeouts and 4 straight outs for Derek Clark to start his second start of the summer.
Clark's strikeout numbers were up in his start against Brewster. 7 strikeouts in those 7 innings, which were huge. Can give the Firebirds a little bit of length here. It's a bullpen that's been used a lot and starting pitching that hasn't been too hot.
Yeah.
The Mountaineer on Mountaineer battle starts with a foul ball towards Orleans' dugout. 0-1. Clark, let's see how he deals with Hussey, who leads the league in doubles with 10, has driven in the 3rd most runs with 23, but has also struck out the 3rd most times at just under 40. 2 swings, 2 foul balls, 0-2 in the count.
A true hit or miss, pun intended, player.
Hitting just around 250 on the summer. Not necessarily hitting for average, but hitting the ball hard. Clark misses in the dirt. Henry Hunter behind the dish. The strikeout numbers have been great for Clark all summer. For somebody who's topping out at 90, 91 miles an hour from originally Division II Northwood. 29 Ks in 27 innings headed into tonight. Hussey doesn't bite at another pitch in the dirt. He evens the count. Clark 2nd in the league among qualified pitchers in ERA headed into tonight at 1.33, only behind Katuitz's Cam Hill. There's another strikeout, 3 in a row, as Clark wins the battle of West Virginia against Grant Hussey with his 3rd strikeout in just under 2 innings pitched.
Derek Clark is so good, and analytics came out about how Derek Clark, we talked about the velocity isn't 95, 96, but his fastball moves so much that it really confuses hitters.
Another hitter, and making his Cape League debut against such a tough battle in Clark, the designated hitter, Byram Hott from Marist. You know, bullpen coach Cole Cook, who pitched for Orleans back in 2009, kind of explained what makes Clark's pitches so difficult to track, especially that fastball. So there's plus spin on the ball, and it accelerates, and it's just alive late in the zone. He also hides the ball really well before it comes out to the plate. As that pitch misses up and away for ball 2. Dylan, would you agree with Cole Cook on that front?
I can't disagree with the pitching coach for the Firebirds, right? But that's exactly what I see, too. And the longer that he hides it behind his glove, the least amount of time that the hitters get to see it, and it works for him. I think Derek Clark really is a great image of this Firebirds team. Not guys who come from a lot of big schools, but with big hearts.
Brandon Stallman is chopped towards 3rd. His throw to 1st in time. 6 up, 6 down. 3 strikeouts in the mix for Derek Clark. The big heart showing on a big night for Orleans, trying to stop a 2-game skid right here. And Derek Clark's pitching is certainly not hurting the cause. We go to the bottom of the 2nd. Still 1-0 Birds on the Birds Broadcast Network.
What Cape home design will you dream up? For over 16 years, Cape Dreams Building and Design has specialized in building custom homes for clients across Cape Cod. Our core values of honesty, integrity, and quality work are what separates us from other Cape builders and help us make your dreams of your next new home a reality. From new construction to additions and renovations, contact Cape Dreams today or visit our website at capedreamsbd.com.
And a story about Drew Spencer, who's the head coach of the Great Britain national team and played for Orleans in 1994 and 95. Check out the biographies of our players, coaches, and interns, as well as the most comprehensive statistics on the Cape League and the Orleans Firebirds. Please pick up your complimentary copy of the 2023 Orleans Firebirds yearbook, and remember, it's free because of the generous advertisers that you'll see throughout the book. We're trying to win a championship.
Orleans looking for a little more run support for all-star pitcher Derek Clark. Joe Oyama's providing a lot of support. His solo shot to lead last inning gave the Birds a 1-0 lead, but then Orleans went down in order against Will Koger. Back on the mound for his second inning of work. He faces 5, 6, 7. It starts with the left fielder, Eddie Micheletti. Lefty on righty. Strike down the middle. 0-1 to Micheletti, who's been very good over the last week. 8 for his last 21 in his last 6 games with 4 runs driven in. Koger's 0-1. Misses low. Dylan, what have you liked most from Koger on the mound since giving up that leadoff home run to Joe Oyama?
Well, it really hasn't been Koger. It's been his defense. The Orleans bats are hitting the ball really hard, and it's almost a surprise because of how good Koger's numbers have been, but they got the scouting report, and right now they're hitting the ball really hard against Koger, having good at-bats.
There is a Louisville Cardinal on the Firebirds, and he's on deck, the center fielder, Eddie King, coming off a 3-hit performance yesterday against YD.
Definitely the best bat in that order yesterday. And a big day for Eddie King because him, along with some other players, are really trying to justify and show Kelly Nicholson, I can play in big games. I can prove myself and come through for the Firebirds. It's all about playing time and an audition right now. Eddie King had a really good start yesterday to his with 3 hits yesterday against YD.
That's why he's starting again in center field tonight after his first 3-hit game of the season. Micheletti was 6 hits in his last 3 games, including a perfect 4-for-4 day in Orleans' last win against Chatham on Friday. Koger's 2-2. Breaking ball misses up and away for ball 3. Sitting at 23 pitches so far is Koger, now 24. 4 more strikes and balls thrown. Micheletti just spent his first 3 years at George Washington, transferring to Virginia Tech. The payoff. Chop towards second. Gonzalez catches it with ease, flips the first to Hussey. And that's now 4 retired in a row for Orleans, dating back the last inning. Good at bat, though.
Micheletti always going to drive the count to full. He's a fighter out there. He's always going to give you a battle. And he does. Koger seems to have settled in a little bit. The Firebirds have to continue to put pressure on him. They've gotten a lot of runners on in the past few games, and they have to continue that today. 1 run won't do the trick against the Gatemen offense like this one.
We saw a collegiate battle last inning between Derek Clark and Grant Hussey. Clark won the West Virginia on West Virginia matchup with a strikeout of Hussey. Now another one. Just half an inning later, Eddie King of the Cards against Will Koger. King gets ahead 1-0. Like you said, coming off a 3-hit performance yesterday at YD. His first double of the year. Batting average up to 200 on the season for King, who brings great speed and awesome defense in the middle of the outfield. Trying to gain some consistency from the plate. Koger's 2-0. Fouled off. Dylan, yesterday was just such a frustrating day because, again, you get double-digit hits, a lot of opportunities with the crowded bases, but just couldn't cash in, not even once.
No, 10 hits yesterday, and it was so frustrating because the bullpen was so good yesterday. Ryan Reeses and Chase Loomis combined for 5 shutout innings after Ivan Romero went 4. Or just around there, 3 2/3. Reeses with 2 1/3, and then Loomis with 2. A shutout baseball, but the offense couldn't get back in the game.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Koger fires away. Misses low with the fastball. Another full count. Micheletti drove the count full, ended up grounding out to the second baseman Gonzalez. King looking for a better result. Brandon Stallman from UNC Charlotte on deck. The full count offering. Launched straight into the glove of J.C. Cologne. Cologne up there in the league leaders in errors, but now playing his more natural position of short. Started the season at third. Makes a really nice play there for the second out of the inning.
Another hard hit ball right at a Gatemen fielder. Firebirds early in this game have been getting unlucky. Good contact against Koger.
Someone who's made great contact is this third baseman, Brandon Stallman. Over the last week, he's tied for the team lead in batting average with Joe Oyama, the league's player of the week, so that's pretty good company. 9 for his last 21. This one hit weakly on the ground, gets through the hole for a base hit. The good times keep rolling for Brandon Stallman. And Dylan, that's exactly what he's been doing. Nothing fancy, but he's been delivering.
That's like a deja vu type of hit. Every single hit has been kind of in that situation and in that place, other than an opposite field single a few games ago. He's been pulling the baseball, and he's been getting good results from it. Another hit for Stallman. He's been really big for this team.
Stallman already with 4 multiple hit games in his first 7 games with the team. Orleans now with multiple hits on the game. Here's Colin Tuff, the right fielder, who takes the ball 1-0. Koger had retired 5 in a row after giving up the solo shot to Joe Oyama last inning to give the Firebirds a 1-0 lead. Broken up by Stallman, who doesn't have a ton of speed at first. He hasn't attempted to steal a bag and probably won't with 2 outs. Tuft pops one up, foul territory. Right field side, Grant Hussey over his back, lunges, cannot make the snag as he lays out. A for effort, nearly had it. Tuft stays alive now behind 0-2.
Tuft went fishing on a high fastball and popped it up. Good effort by Hussey, but he had to make an over-the-shoulder Jim Edmonds, Willie Mays type of catch, and he couldn't make the play. Not easy.
Colin Tuft has made a lot of very difficult plays. Speaking of defensive ability in the outfield, Dylan, I know you really would like to see him heat up from the plate because he's so good defensively.
He definitely has a role in this team. Right now, I'd probably say he's one of the best defensive outfielders on this team, and only more would he bring to the table if he got his bat going.
Another foul pop-up. This one is going to make it out of the park. Look at the scene here from Eldredge. We've got a lot of good crowds this summer. This might be right up there on a beautiful Tuesday night late in July.
I thought that July 4th, that weekend, was going to be huge. I'd say this competes. I think it might even pass it with how many people are here. All around the park, too, not just the first base side.
And Wareham has really struggled to win games away from home this season. Tuft rocks one to right, down for a hit. Brandon Stallman up to second. Back-to-back 2-out singles for Orleans. This is a big opportunity to potentially open up the lead. Already up 1-0 after the Joe Oyama solo shot last inning. Here's the bottom man in the order, catcher Henry Hunter.
Before the game, the Firebirds, they decided that they were going to do some situational batting practice. They had runners on the corners and had Coach Max Vesky throwing to him off the mound just to get their mind right in terms of hitting with runners in scoring position. This is another situation for Orleans.
2 on, 2 out. Henry Hunter lines one down the left field line. It's fair. Brandon Stallman racing home. No throw yet, and no throw. That's going to cut off Stallman. 1-0 Orleans. Sliding in, safe to second, Henry Hunter. An RBI double from the bottom man in the order. And the future Georgia Bulldog. The situational hitting comes through.
It doesn't take much, but Hunter with a great piece of hitting there. Goes the other way, down the third base line. That's exactly what you want to do, and really good sign from the Firebirds offensively.
Henry Hunter, his 6th run batted in on this summer. Back-to-back games with an RBI. Also his first double of the year. Colin Tuft on third. 3 straight hits for Orleans with 2 outs. It's funny, in Wareham's win on the road yesterday against Bourne in that 7-0 win in a doubleheader, all their runs came with 2 outs scored. Orleans taking a page out of the Gatemen's playbook here tonight. 2-0 with a run in each of the first 2 innings. And back to the top of the order with Joe Oyama, who homered to right just an inning ago. Koger's 1-0. Misses high. 2 balls, no strikes. A late strike call behind the plate. I beg your pardon. From Mike Hinojosa. That evens the count. Hinojosa behind the plate. James Fonseca at first. Ryan DeMare at third tonight
the officials. Tuft off third, Hunter off second. The 1-1. Low for ball 2.
I'll tell you this, I think the doubleheader by the Gatemen yesterday, they played Bourne. 2 games, both 7 innings. But it'll play a big role in how they use their pitching today.
I know, dude.
Koger might have to go a little bit longer than he'd like to.
Kind of iffy.
Just trying to think of the here and now. The 2-1. Way upstairs to the 5'7" Oyama. 3 balls and a strike. Koger a ball away from loading the bases. Oyama trying to come up in a big spot. The all-star starter who had one of the best weeks on Cape Cod this summer.
Not much, right?
Popped up foul to left. Full count.
Oyama does his best in these situations. Now, the pitch that has been giving him a little bit of trouble has been the fastball right around the belt to the chest area. Koger's going to have to place it right there. If he doesn't, it'll be a mistake, and Oyama's going to make him pay.
Oyama made him pay in the first with a leadoff home run to right.
That Himes creaming himself.
Colin Tuft on third, Henry Hunter on second. 2 outs. The 3-2 pitch. On the ground towards first. Hussey backhands it, now flips and stepping on the bag in time. What great effort off the mound from Will Koger to strand 2 base runners for Orleans. That was a close play, and ultimately it goes in favor of the Gatemen. Stays 2-0. Another run comes across the board. A run-scoring double from Henry Hunter brings Brandon Stallman home. And Orleans up 2-0 as we go to the top of the third on the Birds Broadcast Network.
This is your world, your job, your crew, your Cat compact equipment. And this is the support from your local Cat dealer. This is helping you meet your deadlines, your bottom line, your offers, your savings. This is getting you your parts and everything you need on time, easier than ever.
Welcome back to the Birds Broadcast Network. One of the best duos on this entire Firebirds team is none other than Matt Hallback and Joe Oyama. Matt has been absolutely tearing it up at first base, and Joe, of course, has been so dominant at second. And one of the biggest keys to their success is the chemistry they built off the diamond, which is now translating to the field. But this chemistry was not built overnight. Last summer, they were with the Apple Sox of the West Coast League, and that's really where the friendship developed. And ever since they brought it here to Orleans, they shared with me how lucky they are to be joining back here with the Firebirds, and how this friendship will continue for years on end. And really the only difference with the two of the guys is their height. Other than that, they're 2 peas in a pod, and they continue to dominate here in Orleans. Guys, back to you.
Oh, come on. Attacking the short king, Joe Oyama. He might only be 5'7", but he's the biggest threat in the league right now. Both of them Cape League All-Stars. Both of them were all-league selections last summer, like you were talking about, with the Wenatchee Apple Sox of the West Coast League. Top of the third. It's 2-0 Orleans. Derek Clark still on the mound. 9-1-2 due up for Wareham, as this one is shot to right and past the sliding Oyama for a hit. Dorian Gonzalez, the hottest bat in the Gatemen lineup, hitting 300 over the last week. Gets another hit and continues to get things done. It's the first hit and the first base runner for Wareham on the game.
Gonzalez has been here pretty much since day one with Wareham. He's played twice against Orleans and has gone 2 for 7 with 2 runs. Been really good against the Firebirds.
J.C. Cologne popped up on the first pitch along the right field side. Oyama this time makes the play right near his good buddy, Matt Hallback, for the first out of the inning. Dylan, those two are chatting all the time, Hallback and Oyama. It's definitely one of the most fun dynamics on the team.
Well, it's interesting because not only did they play last year summer ball together, they play this year summer ball together, but they're very close where they play college ball, Joe Oyama and Irvine, and Matt Hall back at UC San Diego. Probably about an hour and 30 minutes apart, not too far. So right down the 405 in California. Not my favorite highway.
Isn't that wild?
So Yadi Hernandez down on just a pitch as he pops up to Oyama. Now it's the bottom man in the order. One of the more recent additions to this Wareham team, who made a big splash yesterday in the win over Bourne, UConn's Corey Morton.
You think he's going to be done?
Originally from Norwalk, Connecticut, our neck of the woods in Fairfield County. He shows bunt but pops it behind the plate.
Right here.
Even count 1-1.
Morton and the Huskies made it to the regionals this year. They lost to Texas Tech. They were in the same regional as Wake Forest, so not exactly the easiest regional to be in.
It's not easy at any level in the NCAA tournament in baseball. UConn, definitely a team on the rise, and Morton, a big reason why. He hit 8 home runs in the spring for the Huskies, slugged .567 during his junior season, started 0 for 12 here on the Cape, but had a 3-run home run in the second leg of yesterday's doubleheader against Bourne. He goes behind 1-2. It's just adjusting to the Cape. It's so difficult. In his first game, this is the guy who's great at UConn, an NCAA tournament team, 0 for 4 and 4 Ks. But his time came yesterday. Swing and a miss. There is another strikeout for him and another one for Derek Clark, his 4th on the night, just over 2 innings pitched.
The shortstop from Missouri, number 32.
Like we talked about, Morton's so good at UConn, but such a huge gap between their last game, which was right around the mid-May mark, to right now, which we said almost at the end of July. That's 2.5 months where he's sitting around, he's hitting in the cages, and then he has to come here and face the top of the top.
No, he went home.
J.C. Cologne back to the top of the order. Swings at the first pitch. Stallman loses it on the hot corner. It deflects off the bag and into foul territory. Cologne reaches.
I think Stallman thought about the throw before he thought about fielding it. That'll go down as an error. It seemed like he took his eye off the ball and was already looking at first to throw out Cologne because of his speed. Now a jam for Clark. First opportunity to score for Wareham.
First error committed by either team today. Here's Bobby Bozer, the all-star from South Florida, who fouled out to short his first time up and has a foul ball here. High in the sky towards the top of the hill and right. 0-1. Bozer has delivered in big moments against Orleans this season. Came in off the bench in the 9th inning in a game tied at 4 apiece at Wareham 10 days ago. And an RBI single to walk off Orleans. The 0-1 from Clark. Low and in.
Bozer's a big bat in this lineup. Leads the team in home runs when it comes to active players as well, 3.
Also patient as well. Leads the whole league in walks. A batting average hovering right around 200. Fair ball towards Stallman at third. He stumbles but recovers and has no play to make. Ran right into the hole with a lot of momentum. And Dylan couldn't recover in time to get Bozer out. It's an infield single, and the bases are loaded with 2 out.
This has been a pretty frustrating inning for the Firebirds. A single to right just past the glove of Oyama, an error at third base, and then a little dinker in the infield that it was a play that no one could make. Stallman almost lost his footing, and now the bases are juiced.
Derek Clark with 2 outs. Can he get the out of Michael Brooks, who launches the first pitch over the head of Oyama to right down for a hit. 1 run scores, another one coming home, and the Gatemen tie it at 2. A 2-run single from Michael Brooks. Dorian Gonzalez comes home, and so does J.C. Cologne. A defensive miscue does not help out the oh-so-reliable.
And that's what happens to the Firebirds when they're in this type of a slump. Baseball's a cruel game, and when you make one little mistake, no matter who you're playing, they're going to make you pay. That's what just happened right there.
The Gatemen still have an opportunity to do more damage and to make Orleans continue to pay. after the 2-run single from Michael Brooks.
To Chaim's credit.
Runners on the corners against Clark.
He has not 100% his
With
credit,
Grant
but
Sherritt at the plate. The left fielder struck
very
out
good core.
in the second inning. Runner takes off. Henry Hunter the throw, and in time. But now a rundown between first and second as the run scores for Bobby Bozer. And tagged out at second to end the inning. What an unbelievable sequence that leads to the Gatemen taking the lead. A double steal in the works, and ultimately it pays off for the Gatemen. A 3-run inning out of nowhere. Wareham gets hot, benefits from defensive miscues from Orleans. Wareham up 3-2. We go to the bottom of the third on the Birds Broadcast Network.
At Curry, we'll meet you where you are and help you discover who you want to become.
Cape Cod Baseball League runs on Duncans. This summer, our players are able to track and monitor their development thanks to our 10th sponsor of the 100-year anniversary, Baseball Cloud, whose data tells the whole story. Plus, Baseball Cloud gives fans like you the opportunity to access each player's stats and historical data. Baseball Cloud technology is ushering in the next 100 years of Cape Cod Baseball League history, inspiring and exciting the next generation of players and fans. Learn more at baseballcloud.com.
The Wareham Gatemen in front, 3-2. A wonky inning, Dylan. And ultimately, Orleans a lot of self-inflicted wounds.
An error at third base, and then a play that Wareham ran on them last time at Spillane in the walk-off loss. Whereas first and third, 2 outs. The catcher throws down on a stolen base, but it was a delayed steal. The runner doesn't head to second. He stops in between first and second. The runner, Brozer, comes around to score. And it's just fundamentals right now that the Firebirds aren't hitting.
Drew Farrow with a fundamental swing and a hard hit ball to right. Unfortunately for him, it lands right into the glove of Corey Morton for the first out of the third inning for Orleans. Here's the shortstop, Jack Penny.
And when you're not capitalizing on fundamentals, when you're not doing what you have to do, the team's going to make you pay. I keep saying it, but that's what's happening right now. Orleans is not doing the little things well.
All 3 of those runs allowed, unearned for Derek Clark. At least that's how it scored. 4 strikeouts for him. Has now surrendered 3 hits, all of them last inning. Officially 1 error on the board for the Firebirds. An E5 from third baseman Brandon Stallman. Will Koger still on the mound. Already over 40 pitches for the U of L product. An ACC on ACC clash against Jack Penny, who flew out to right in the first inning.
I ran to the water fountain just beyond the first base dugout. I ran to there and back so I can hustle where we get back here.
The 1-1. Popped up, shallow left center field. A few players underneath it. Bobby Bozer makes the snag. The All-Star retires the All-Star for out number 2.
Koger has been really good. The second inning gave him a little bit of trouble, but he's finding ways right now. And when you look at the Firebirds, you look at their hits, 4 hits. He had a walk in there as well. He should have more, but that's how it's kind of been feeling for the offense the past few days.
It's an offense that has left at least 8 base runners stranded in each of the last 5 games for the Firebirds. 1-4 in that stretch as Matt Hallback goes behind 0-1. Now 0-2 with that swing and a miss. Hallback grounded out to third in the first inning. An Orleans team that is last in the league in runs scored has had its ups and its downs offensively this year. Nobody on, 2 out. Koger's 0-2. Check swing from Hallback. Checking over at first base. He did not go, according to James Fonseca. Ball one. Hallback has been definitely one of the most consistent threats in the Orleans order. The All-Star over the last week, hitting .400. 10 for his last 25 headed into this game in his previous 6. Stays alive. Still behind 1-2.
Hallback has shown his power, and he's been really hot. For this Firebirds order, it's been, the top 4 has been great. They're trying to find out who can really stick in the bottom 5.
Low and in. So low, it gets a piece of Matt Hallback.
Another hit by
That's a feeling that is not unfamiliar to the UC San Diego Triton. He's been hit by a pitch countless times this summer. Well, there is a number. I'll tell you what it is. Currently scrolling through the point streak just to confirm. But, man, has he been unlucky and I guess kind of lucky at the same time. 8th time this year that Matt Hallback has been plunked by a pitch, and it keeps the bottom of the 3rd alive.
He's looking to break Trey Lipsey's record. He's been hitting a long time, too, the Hyannis outfielder.
Oh, my gosh.
Was it 13, 14 hit by pitches?
Got plunked by his 13th pitch when Orleans lost to Hyannis by 10 runs on Thursday. Somehow we remember that and all the crazy moments from that game. I don't think anybody is catching up to that record. I don't think anybody wants to. Eddie Micheletti at the plate. 0 for 1 on the day with a ground out. 2-0. Koger misses outside. Firebirds trying to retake the lead after Wareham scores 3 runs off 3 hits and an error last inning against Derek Clark and company. Koger's 2-0. Misses low, now 3-0 to Micheletti.
Koger, a bullpen arm for Louisville. How much can he continue to go? That's the question.
Well, Ryan Smythe, the first-year manager of this Wareham team, who's making his way out to the mound, pulled the plug on Koger after only 2 2/3 innings pitched, in danger of letting Micheletti reach behind in the count 3-0 with a runner on and 2 out in a 1-run game. Koger's had the opportunities to go a bit long this summer. He's pitched over 3 innings twice, including 4 innings against Chatham all the way back on June 16th. He's going to stay in here. A hitter's count for Micheletti, 3-0 with all back on first after he was hit by a pitch. Low and in, ball 4. A 4-pitch, 2-out walk for Micheletti. 2 straight free passes handed out by Will Koger. Orleans, these are the situations they haven't necessarily been great at over the last 5 games, but Eddie King was great yesterday.
Yes, he was, and another hit right here would tie the ball game.
Lined out to the shortstop, Cologne, in the 2nd inning. A well-hit ball. Unlucky Fields placement from Eddie King. This one launched to right. Morton backpedaling towards his left, leaps, and it's down and out. Eddie King, a 3-run shot. His biggest hit of the summer. And Orleans takes the lead in the bottom of the 3rd. A 2-out rally from the Firebirds. Hallback scores, Micheletti scores, and Eddie King with his 2nd official long ball.
The mound visit by Ryan Smythe. Right before Eddie King barely sneaks it over the right field wall. Like you said, a 2-out rally, and the first hit of the inning for the Firebirds is a home run.
5th hit of the day, 5 runs. A 3-run home run from Eddie King, who's now got an extra base hit in each of the last 2 games. Only had 1 headed into yesterday on the entirety of the year. Here's Brandon Stallman, who put a hit through a 4-3 hole last inning. A lot better situational hitting early on in this game for the Firebirds. A run in each of the first 3 innings for Orleans. The 1-1. Launched the other way. End of a glove of Michael Brooks. Throw to first in time. But another productive inning over. Orleans battling against a team with the 2nd highest ERA in the league in Wareham. Orleans already with 5 runs. That ERA is not going to go down for Ryan Smythe's team just yet. A 3-run home run from Eddie King Jr. makes it 5-3 Birds after 3.
It's time to get into the spirit, Cape Cod. And be it gardening spirit, summer fun spirit, or baseball spirit. The team at Agway of Cape Cod has you covered.
1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old home.
See you at Agway this season.
Visit your neighborhood T-Mobile store or T-Mobile.com to learn more.
5-3 Orleans in the top of the 4th. Thanks so much for joining us on the Birds Broadcast Network. Ian Nicholas and Dylan Pescatore on the call. A 3-run home run to right. 2nd home run of the day for Orleans. The latest coming from Eddie King Jr. Gives the Birds the lead right back in what has been a back-and-forth affair early on. Derek Clark, who gave up 3 unearned runs last inning, faces 4, 5, and 6 in the Wareham order. It starts with the left fielder, Grant Sherrod. He quickly goes down 0-2, struck out swinging in the 2nd inning. Dylan, a great 2-out rally just a few moments ago.
I like that. Oh, a really good one. And that's what you want from an offense that maybe isn't having their luck of the trade right now. They get runners on, a hit by pitch, a good walk by Micheletti, not trying to do too much. And then Eddie King goes the other way and gets a little bit of luck to get it over the fence.
Sherrod chops another pitch off his body. Foul. Still 0-2. Orleans has gotten both lucky and unlucky tonight. Maybe not creating enough of its own luck last half inning defensively. As Derek Clark gives up 3 runs, all of them unearned. But then catching some breaks on the offensive side of things. Breaks they haven't been catching as of late. Clark misses upstairs. Still ahead in the count 1-2.
Who would have thought a game started by Derek Clark in the top of the 4th would be 5-3?
Just how the Cape Cod Baseball League works. Some days you should expect some things, other days you don't. Orleans has expected greatness from Clark every single time he's been out on the mound, and for good reason. The second 0-2 tonight. Foul ball down the third base side. I mean, he proved it in his last start 8 days ago against Brewster. A 4-1 win for Orleans right here from Eldredge. 7 innings pitched, just an earned run given up. Off 5 hits, 6 strikeouts, no walks. Popped up in the infield. Matt Hallback comes in from first, and also Joe Oyama from second. It's Oyama who makes the catch right off the mound for the first out of the inning.
Clark thought about getting it himself, but then realized he's the pitcher. And he got off the mound and got out of the way. Good communication by Oyama to call for it and make the catch. A good start to the inning. Ian, we talked about it yesterday. Windy and not in 8 innings hitting because they didn't need the bottom of the 9th. Had 6 leadoff men on. The leadoff batter in 6 innings got on. Here tonight, only 1 of 4 for Wareham.
Swinging a foul tip from Grant Hussey, who struck out in the second, 0-1. Derek Clark attacks early, often, went 1-2-3 in the first inning, and outside of a bumpy third, has been fantastic. Hallback loves it. Clark races to first and ends the inning. 1-2-3 in the first, 1-2-3 again, almost, as out number 2 here in the fourth.
The DH from Marist, number 36, Byron Hott.
Good play by Clark to race over to the bag and tap first. He knew the runner, Hussey, was running. Not the fastest guy he's going to have to deal with, so he got over quick, made the play look easy.
Byram Scott takes a strike, 0-1.
Was that you?
Byram hot, trying to get hot here on the Cape. Easy pun to make, and I'll make it. His Cape League debut began this summer in the Perfect Game Collegiate Baseball League with the Oneonta Outlaws. Originally from Queens, one of the boroughs of New York City. Stallman with a long throw to first. The tag pops out of the glove of Matt Hallback, and racing forward is Henry Hunter, who backs it up. Standing in now at second with 2 outs here in the inning is Hott, who reaches for the first time in his Cape League career on a bit of a wonky sequence.
It's another play that Stallman would probably want back. A good play to get to the ball right along the line, but a throw that has to be made. Now another runner in scoring position off a ball that doesn't leave the infield. Unlucky for Clark tonight. He's been pitching really well. He's been getting ground balls. Defense hasn't been back for him every single time.
Not an error charge there. It goes down as an infield hit for Hott, and he moved over to second as an error is tacked on after the fact on Stallman.
That'll be a single on an error on to moving to second.
And that's why he's in scoring position. Second error committed by Orleans. Bottom man in the order, Dorian Gonzalez. He singled his first time up last inning. Lefty on lefty battle.
Clark doesn't really have
Miss outside. 2-0. Gonzalez, a native of Miami, Florida. Just finished up his second year with the Canes.
not very sharp.
Staying with the program. After a very long time, head coach moved on. An internal promotion for JT Ortega, who he knows very well.
He's around the
Not
plate.
only
He's
does he
always
know
around
him
the
well,
plate.
as he takes a strike.
Defense.
Ortega played at Miami for 4 years in the 1990s
This is a great
alongside Dorian's father, Dorian Sr., who played with the team from 1994 to 96. 2-1, outside for ball 3. Ortega was a beast at Miami. The new head coach, across 4 years, helped the Canes reach the College World Series each season, the winningest pitcher in Hurricanes history. His number 33 retired in 2003, the year he became the associate head coach of the program. The 3-1 misses upstairs until there's a late strike call. Gonzalez nearly dropped the bat, but the count now full with 2 outs and a runner on second.
Clark gets a gift there. Now how can he continue on and get out of this inning?
Runner on second is Hott. Outside, ball 4 this time. Gonzalez flips the bat and walks with 2 outs. Orleans with a 2-out rally in the bottom of the third off Koger. Wareham looking for the same, trying to retake the lead half an inning later.
Making defensive errors is so frustrating, especially to the pitcher, because not only should you be out of the inning, but then you have to deal with Gonzalez. You walk him on a full count on a 50-50 call, and you have to throw more and more pitches. Clark should be out of this, and his pitch count should be much lower.
Yadi Hernandez, who popped up to second his first time up. The 8th man in the order takes his strike 0-1. Has not been the easiest night for Derek Clark, who has 55 pitches to his name, 39 of them for strikes in 3 2/3 innings pitched. The 0-1 on the ground towards Jack Penny at short, tosses to second. Oyama covers, forces out Gonzalez, ends the inning. Derek Clark, hasn't been easy for him the entirety of his life. Hasn't been easy for him here on the Cape, but he's making it look easy even when he doesn't always have everything working around him. He has been so consistent on the mound for the Firebirds, and the score stays the same. 5-3, Orleans over Wareham. We go to the bottom of the fourth on the Birds Broadcast Network.
At Del Mar Vacations, we believe that every moment spent on Cape Cod is a memory waiting to happen. Book a stay with us. And when you're here, why not enjoy the excitement of a Cape Cod Baseball League game? Del Mar Vacations proudly partners with the Cape Cod Baseball League, where you can watch the future stars of tomorrow play today. Whether you're seeking a family getaway or an adventure-filled escape, Del Mar Vacations has the perfect home for you. Book your dream vacation today and discover the beauty of Cape Cod. Del Mar Vacations and the Cape Cod Baseball League, your ticket to an extraordinary getaway.
The lights have been turned on a breezy 79-degree night from Eldredge Park. It has not been a breezy game. It's been back and forth, high-scoring action. Orleans with 3 runs scored off a home run to right from Eddie King last inning, trying to add on to that lead against the same pitcher, Will Koger, in the bottom of the fourth. 8-9-1 due up for the Birds. Starts with the right fielder, transferring to Tulane, Colin Tuft, who singled back in the second. And goes behind 0-1 here.
Colin Tuft makes his best contact on balls that are up in the zone. Usually it'd be the opposite way. Tuft really swings it well when he's facing high fastballs and fastballs on the outside part of the plate. He can drive to right field like he did in his last at-bat.
Quickly 0-2, a couple foul balls to the netting. Needed that hit in the second for the Vienna, Virginia native. Over his last week, he was only 1 for his last 15, but has continued to stay in the lineup because of his acrobatics, whether it be in center field or in either of the corner outfield spots. Also does some catching. He was a former top 5 catcher recruit out of the state of Virginia. Ground ball towards third. Glove by Brooks. Throw to first is in time. Tuft retired for the first time tonight. First out of the inning.
And I'm even somewhat surprised that Koger is still on the mound. And an arm warming for Wareham in the bullpen. After the end to the third with Eddie King hitting a 3-run home run. Clearly Wareham is in desperate need of outs. Their bullpen is not in good shape after the doubleheader yesterday.
65 pitches for Koger through 3 1/3 in his second start of the summer. He's allowed 5 hits, 5 runs, all of them earned. No strikeouts, 1 walk.
And that's another big thing. We brought up the Chatham game, last appearance for Koger. 3 1/3, 7 strikeouts. Tonight, no strikeouts. The Birds have had a strikeout problem. 10 last night, none so far tonight.
Henry Hunter with a big hit off Will Koger, his last time up in the second. An RBI double, which drove Brandon Stallman home. You talk at the strikeout numbers for Koger over the years. 2 years at Louisville, 35 Ks and 39 innings pitched. This is his second year here on the Cape. Also his second year with the Gatemen. Last summer struck out 25 and just under 26 innings pitched. The 1-1. Upstairs for ball 2. He's been a really consistent arm here on the Cape too, even if the strikeout numbers have been fluctuating over the last 2 seasons. An ERA just over 4.2 last summer in 9 appearances and 2 games started.
Tonight, pretty much the same. He comes in 4.3 ERA.
Another good take from Hunter, who gets ahead in the count even farther, 3-1. Spent his first 2 seasons at Alabama Birmingham. You can tell with the green elbow guard and the green cleats. There it is, Hunter on his right bicep. Ball 4, pitch in the dirt from Koger. It's the second walk he's handed out today. Also plunked the batter last inning. But Dylan, like you said, coming off their first doubleheader of the summer, on the road yesterday against Bourne, Ryan Smythe out of options.
Yeah, Wareham had to use 5 pitchers yesterday total. This is a situation where Koger would probably get pulled. 67 is his summer high. 54 was his collegiate spring ball high. He's currently at 70, but it's because of need.
Back to the top of the order with the always dangerous Joe Oyama. Solo home run in the first. Shows bunt. At the ball, miss on the outside corner from Koger, 1-0. And grounded out to first in the second. The Wareham pitching staff, which has gone through trial and tribulation all summer. Second highest ERA in the league, the worst whip, walks and hits per innings pitched, and the highest batting average against headed into today's game. The 1-0 is launched to right and drifting foul. You know, one thing Joe Oyama has proven this summer, and I know we bring this up a lot, the height doesn't measure heart thing. Marcus Stroman, former Firebird, sponsors these jerseys, created these jerseys. The guy can absolutely mash the baseball.
Yeah, I mean, you look at height and weight, you're not going to think many home runs, but Oyama has such sound fundamentals that he doesn't have to rely on huge muscles or huge body mass to go out and lift the ball and hit it far. He knows exactly where he wants it on the bat, on the barrel, and he can put it there on a consistent basis.
Hunter at first after he walked, 1 out. 2 balls and a strike. Oyama gets ahead. Came to the United States just 4 years ago from Okinawa, Japan, which is 400 miles off the southern coast of the mainland. And he came here, he was only 140 pounds. But he's gained around 20, 30 pounds since, just with lifting weights and doing what he needs to do in the gym. Showing that power here. A deep drive to right. There's some power there. Joe Oyama, second home run of the night, 4th home run in the last week. You cannot stop him. 7-3 Orleans.
His offense goes as Joe goes, and that might have been his furthest one so far. He's really showing out his power, like you were saying, Ian. He's lifting those weights, and it's working really deep. Might have passed the picnic tables in right field.
You'll find him in Nauset Fit all the time. You'll find him hitting the baseball hard here on the Cape pretty often. The reigning Cape Cod Baseball League Player of the Week, making it look routine
There's the starter still.
when it shouldn't be that easy in the toughest summer ball league in the country. Second home run of the night for Oyama. His second and third runs driven in.
He's gonna get some innings.
A one-man wrecking crew to extend the lead to 4. In the bottom of the 4th, Drew Farrell evens the count 1-1. He's 0 for 2 tonight with a ground out and a line out.
Should be good.
Didn't have a single home run on the year. Oyama didn't. Headed into a doubleheader against Chatham on Friday here from Eldredge Park. Hit his first 2 home runs of the year. Then against VAs, 2 more just 4 days later against Wareham and Will Koger.
Hopefully not. I'd like to not get wet.
2 balls and a strike. 2-2. Dark, stormy clouds appear over the right side of the sky, at least the right side of the clouds covering Eldredge. Does not look pretty. Base is empty, 1 out. Pop up, left field side, ranging towards his right and making the snag. Grant Sherry. for out number 2.
Guys got like such a loopy swing.
An offense that was not putting up big numbers in the past 4 games, puts up really big numbers through only 4 innings tonight.
And all of those big numbers, unfortunately, against Louisville's Will Koger, whose night most likely ends a second mound visit for Ryan Smythe, the first-year manager of the Wareham Gatemen. A call to the bullpen after Koger surrenders 7 earned in just under 4 innings pitched off 6 hits, 2 of them home runs for Joe Oyama. 7-3 Orleans over Wareham. We head to a break here on the Birds Broadcast Network.
Your attention please. Now pitching for Wareham from Arkansas, number 30, Jake Ferry. Folks, the 50-50 raffle is getting big. Buy your tickets, buy them now. We're going to be closing that sale relatively soon, so buy your tickets now.
Tonight when we're up 15-3.
Will.
The back for the Firebirds, the shortstop from Notre Dame, number 11, Jack Penny.
5, 4, 3.
Cast Network in the bottom of the 4th. From one all-star pitcher to another, Will Koger's night ends after just under 80 pitches and 3 2/3 innings pitched. A tough outing in his second start of the summer. He's replaced by Jake Faraday. Comes into the game with the bases clear and 2 out and faces a fellow all-star in shortstop Jack Penny, 0 for 2 on the game.
Faraday out of Arkansas. Rising junior, the right-handed pitcher. Pitched 2/3 of an inning in the All-Star game and got 2 outs. He's also pitched against Orleans before.
Well hit ball to left. Drops in the gap for a hit. Jack Penny races past first and gets in the second easily. Another day, another hit for Jack Penny. It's the 8th of the game for Orleans. And another extra base hit. Already 3 home runs on the day for the Firebirds, 2 for Joe Oyama. The second double, a run-scoring one from Henry Hunter in the second, a 2-out double from Penny here in the 4th.
Great swing by Penny, going the other way on the first. Few pitches from Faraday. See if the Firebirds can add on another.
Matt Holback goes the other way. A little blooper drops in of a glove of Grant Hussey in foul territory. All over it was the West Virginia Mountaineer. Orleans strand a base runner in scoring position, but probably not going to be crying over that. Joe Oyama, the reason why. He extends the lead 7-4 for the Firebirds with his second home run of the night, a 2-run shot to right off Will Koger to make it 7-3 Birds. After 4, we go to the top of the 5th. Dylan takes over on the play-by-play when we return on the Birds Broadcast Network.
Leading off for Wareham, the right fielder from UConn, number 53, Corey Morton.
Are they back?
Here on the top of the 5th, Derek Clark's first pitch on the ground to third. Stallman's long throw is in time to retire Corey Morton for the second time tonight. Clark's back out for the 5th inning and gets 1 out on 1 pitch.
It's just what he does. You know, Derek Clark's got good strikeout numbers on this summer with averaging over 1 an inning headed into the game. He's made his bread and butter, though, with pitches that miss the barrel of Eastwood bats and get a lot of weak contact, a lot of ground balls.
J.C. Cologne. He scored one of Wareham's 3 runs tonight. Back to the top of the order. Clark's 3rd time seeing him as he looks to be a little bit more efficient here in the 5th. A pop-up from Cologne, left side field out of play. Almost on to Route 28. Here on the first base side.
Yeah, Clark's sitting at just under 60 pitches on the game. Did go 7 innings in his last start.
The 1-1 is low. And it wasn't to his ability or how he's been pitching and why the pitch count's a little bit higher than it usually is. A few errors really boosted it. Breaking ball in there for a strike, 2-2.
Yeah, on the game, he's allowed 3 runs to score, but none of them earned. And it's because Orleans has committed 2 errors, both of them from Brandon Stallman at third. Good to see him make the play to start the inning.
2-2 to Cologne is outside, runs the count full. Clark on the night. In 4 1/3, 4 hits, 3 runs, 1 walk, and 4 strikeouts. Looking for number 5 here against J.C. Cologne, and he gets it on the fastball in the outside corner. Cologne swings through it, and out number 2 is recorded in the 5th.
Yeah, it's a Wareham offense that got off to a really hot start to the summer. Scored 3 runs already tonight, albeit all of them unearned. It's been the theme.
Yes.
You look at the last 10 runs they've scored, only 2 of them have been earned runs against the other pitcher.
Maybe second base.
Bozer swings first pitch and pops it up in the infield. Oyama circles it at second and makes the catch as the wind took it back towards second base. A quick inning for Derek Clark in the 5th. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th. Birds up 7-3.
So put an exclamation point on your summer day and head over to the NAC for the type of food that hits the spot after a day in the summer sun. Now let's go Firebirds, hit one over the NAC outfield banners.
We take you inside the booth here at Eldredge Park. Some dark clouds over us, but Dylan Pescatore, Ian Nicholas right here in the booth. Birds up 7-3 as we go to the bottom of the 5th. Ian, what was the turning point to this game? How has the offense really gotten back up off their feet after a few tough games?
Joe Oyama, right? I mean, he, as you've said throughout the course of this game, sets the tone for this team. In his last 2 games, 0 for 8, only the second time all summer that he's gone without a hit in a 2-game stretch. And 2 losses, 2 ugly losses to YD. The result, what does he do tonight? 2 home runs. Just unbelievable. And the rest of the order, Henry Hunter and Jack Penny, Matt Hallback, and even Eddie King with a 3-run home run. They've all responded after Joe Oyama has set the tone.
I think that was a big shot, too, the Eddie King home run. Down 3-2 as we take you back to the field. A 3-run shot by Eddie King put the team up 5-3. And that was a big turning point after a inning where Wareham scored 3 and, kind of took a shot to the Firebirds after they took the lead early.
Give a lot of credit to Eddie King. It hasn't been a perfect summer for the Louisville outfielder, but one thing he has showed is resiliency, and although he hasn't necessarily hit the ball for average, when he has come up with hits, they've come up at big times. Even yesterday, the entirety of the offense struggling around him, but he comes up with 3 hits. And tonight, in a game where the offense was looking decent early on, he provides his biggest hit of his summer to give his team the lead.
Eddie Micheletti takes the first pitch ball from Jake Faraday, who ended the 4th inning, allowing a double to Penny and then getting Hallback to fly out in foul territory. Micheletti has grounded out and walked. He was one of the 3 runners to score on the Eddie King 3-run shot back in the 3rd.
Yeah, Faraday is a flamethrower. Orleans saw him last in the walk-off win for Wareham on the 15th of the month, where he pitched 1 1/3. He'd give up a run and walk 2.
Micheletti up 2-0 in the count. Now up 3-0 after the fastball runs inside from the righty.
He's going to be pumping that fastball in the mid-90s. The question is, will it find the zone? Not right now against Micheletti.
Faraday in 11 innings has struck out 11 batters. A 4-pitch walk as it goes all the way back to the backstop. Not a good start for Faraday. Here in the bottom of the 5th, a walk to Micheletti.
Yes. Yeah.
It's always so difficult to appreciate what Eddie Micheletti does because sometimes he's quiet, but really productive. I mean, tonight, 2 walks. And in his last walk, he set up Eddie King to hit the 3-run home run to right. And they make it a big-time shot in a massive momentum swing. He doesn't have a good at-bat. He doesn't get another free pass off Koger. Eddie King probably doesn't hit that home run.
And here's the man, Eddie King. Another swing, a ground ball to short, to second for 1 with the glove flip on the first for a double play. Cologne shows off his defensive antics with the glove flip to second. Gonzalez to Hussey, a 6-4-3.
I mentioned it earlier in the game, but J.C. Cologne has looked like a different player, not only defensively, but from the plate since he moved over to his more natural position of shortstop. In summer ball, you're kind of forced to step into roles you might not usually find yourself in. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Getting back to shortstop has really helped him out. I mean, headed into tonight from the plate, he was hitting like 270 in his last 6 games. And that's partially because I would say he's moved over to shortstop, and he's turning plays like that.
Playing your natural position, so big. Defensive, no specialty, is good as it's now 2-0 to Stallman, the lefty. And you want to play as many positions as you can to impress coaching staff and be more versatile. But playing where you've always been, and that's where Cologne has been ever since he started playing baseball. It's been good for his mental and now physical results. Stallman fouls it off 2-1.
Cologne is a big-time recruit coming out of high school, too. This is a guy who, although he hasn't put up monster numbers at Missouri over 2 years, was a former 115th best recruit in the country, according to Perfect Game, coming out of Mount Verde Academy in Florida. Very big-time athletic program.
2-1 is Stallman. It's 1 for 2 on the day.
Mount Verde may be known more for its basketball stars. R.J. Barrett of the Knicks, Ben Simmons of the Nets, D'Angelo Russell, Los Angeles Lakers.
Stallman fouls it away, still 2-2. Basketball players Not sure if I'd use stars with those three.
Oh, come on, you're a Knicks fan. R.J. Barrett is a star in the city of New York.
And I'm a star in the Orleans Firebirds broadcast booth of 2023.
Oh, but it's not about us. R.J. Barrett's getting buckets every night. Big buckets. He was good in the playoffs.
2-2, strikeout. Stallman goes down to Faraday, who works an inning that is scoreless. One base runner, Micheletti, walked to start off the inning, double play, and then Stallman strikes out. Faraday's first strikeout of the night. It gets darker here in Eldredge. Birds up 7-3 in the sixth.
What Cape home design will you dream up? For over 16 years, Cape Dreams Building and Design has specialized in building custom homes for clients across Cape Cod. Our core values of honesty, integrity, and quality work are what separates us from other Cape builders and help us make your dreams of your next new home a reality. From new construction to additions and renovations, contact Cape Dreams today or visit our website at capedreamsbd.com.
Welcome back to the Birds Broadcast Network. Now, 44 games is a lot of games for one summer, so sometimes it's important to fresh things up and keep things going, and that's exactly what the Firebirds did today. Instead of taking their regular BP, they took that time and they worked on defensive schemes as well as cleaning up their defense as a whole. Then when Wareham came on for their BP, they went over to the cages and they put work on the offensive end, which is obviously paying off today already with 7 runs. So it just goes to show you, sometimes switching things up can keep things fresh for the guys. That's exactly what's happening right here. Guys, back to you.
Sammy, if it's working, don't fix it. Maybe the Firebirds have to stick with that strategy for all the games ahead. First pitch swinging is the righty, Michael Brooks, and caught in center by Eddie King. Another first pitch out to lead off an inning against Derek Clark. He'll take it.
Summer ball is such a unique experience. It's hard to get a team necessarily motivated and to keep them dialed in, even if it's only a 44-game season. There are other leagues that play a lot more games than the Cape Cod Baseball League. But even here, it gets tough late in the season to find ways to stay up and about it.
Grant Sherritt pops it up in the infield, right to where Oyama is playing in shallow right field. He'll make the catch right behind second base, out number 2 on just 3 pitches. These are the quick outs that Clark needs if he wants to continue on and go far into this game, not only for his personal standpoint, but also to save the Firebirds bullpen.
It's a bullpen that does have Sean Matson ready and available, but given the deficit that Wareham finds itself in, do you use Sean Matson?
The first pitch to lefty Hussey. Right now in the 6th, it's all about Derek Clark continuing on. 67 pitches. Here's pitch number 68, the 1-0, which is lined foul. And on top of the hill, I think it hit a car. Hopefully not mine.
Where'd you park?
I'm parked right up there.
Uh-oh.
Should have moved my car.
It's been a quiet night for Hussey, playing his future West Virginia teammate.
Fouls off the 1-1. Into the camera well. Now 1-2. Clark looking to get through the 6th. Unscathed. Has thrown up zeros in 4 of 5 innings. Can he throw up another one here? The 1-2, a line drive into right and dumps in front of Tuff for a base hit. A 2-out single for Hussey, his first hit of the day.
The designated hitter from Harris College, number 36, Byram Hott.
Byram Hott, the righty, gets into the box to 2 outs. Wareham down 7-3 to Orleans in the top of the 6th. A Firebirds team that has scored in 4 of 5 chances. Here's a hit for Hott into right field, fielded by Tuff, and back-to-back 2-out singles for Wareham. Sets them up for Dorian Gonzalez, 2 on, 2 out.
Byram Hott has an opportunity to add some life to this Wareham team late in this summer. I know it's been a difficult year for the Gatemen, only 13 wins, sat at the bottom of the West for a while, but Hott, who is the MAAC Rookie of the Year at Marist, a second-team all-conference selection, hit over 380. I know it's not a big school, but he's had a pretty good night so far.
Dorian Gonzalez, the lefty, also has had a really good night. A single and a walk. Faces Clark with 2 outs here in the 6th. Some arms getting loose in the bullpen for Orleans. A game tomorrow on the road at 6 o'clock against Falmouth before an off day on Thursday, the last off day of the season, which ends next Thursday. The regular season, at least. A strike fired by Clark. Firebirds are close to clinching a playoff spot. They need a few more wins to get there. YD, the Red Sox, the top seed in the East, clinched yesterday. And Katuitt in the West has clinched for about a week, it feels like. The 1-1 of Gonzalez is a strike called.
Yeah, the magical number obviously is right around that 20-win mark. And Orleans, if they can hold tonight, would be 2 wins away. It's really clammed up in the middle of the East, though.
1-2, right off the end of the bat of Gonzalez, was lucky to even get a piece. You're right, Orleans at 34 points, Harwich at 33, Brewster at 30, all clamoring and 2-3-4 for positioning when it comes to playoffs. Who's going to play YD? Who's going to be the home team in the 2-3 matchup? Firebirds need to win tonight in the standings. 1-2, Gonzalez doesn't chase. The check is unsuccessful.
Just checking in on some around the league scores. Falmouth took down Brewster 8-3 in an early finish from Stony Brook. Meanwhile, Harwich and Bourne knotted up at 2 in the top of the 6th from White House Field.
2-2, 2 on, 2 out. Clark deals and gets the swing and a miss. He's pumped up as he comes off the mound. 6 strikeouts for Derek Clark in 6 innings. He keeps the score 7-3 Orleans as we go to the bottom of the 6th.
This is your world, your job, your crew, your Cat Compact equipment. And this is the support from your local Cat dealer. This is helping you meet your deadlines, your bottom line, your offers, your savings. This is getting you your parts and everything you need on time, easier than ever.
We head to the bottom of the 6th. Firebirds up 7-3 after Derek Clark got out of a 2-on, 2-out jam with his 6th strikeout of the night. He sits at 78 pitches. We'll see if that's the end of the night for him when we go to the 7th. But right now, here in the bottom of the 6th, Colin Tuft leads it off against Jake Faraday. SEC versus ACC. Tuft, the righty, had a single back in the 2nd, was left stranded at 3rd base, and then grounded out to 3rd in the 4th. Two years at Virginia. heading to Tulane in New Orleans in the fall. Another Virginia connection. Chase Hungate warming up in the bullpen for the Firebirds. Buried, comes set along the belt. The 0-1 is outside and low. Ian, you started with the score updates last inning. What other scores around the league as the rain starts to fall here in Orleans?
Yeah, a lot of early games. As you mentioned, rain starting to fall here. Orleans with lights, but 3 fields in the league without lights. Katuitt smacked YD 10-3 from Red Wilson, where they do not have lights. An early start yesterday there for the Birds and a loss. And in the bottom of the 5th from Veterans Field, Hyannis leads Chatham. That's a red-hot Hyannis team out of the West. 2-0.
Orleans doing some scoreboard watching, but they need to take advantage of their game in front of them right here. Colin Tuft swings through the high fastball. 2-2.
Yeah, Colin Tuft has had a productive night with the single in the 2nd. He needs to be better in these situations, though, with 2 strikes against him. Taking his time. The strikeout numbers have been a bit high so far this summer for him.
The 2-2 from Faraday just outside, and Tuft takes it. Runs the count full. We showed you, you've seen the dark cloud that has been rolling through Orleans. No rain yet until about a minute ago, and it's starting to come down at a decent pace. And now a little bit faster. The 3-2 outside, Tuft walks to lead off the inning.
Now the rule is, in terms of weather and if a game would get called or not, you have to complete a full inning for anything in that inning to count. So if they can't get through the rest of this inning, and unfortunately for Orleans and Wareham, the game not only could get called, but also the score would revert to whatever it was after 5 full innings. Nobody scored here in the 6th, though.
Colin Tuft off first. Henry Hunter swings through strike number 1. Staying out of the rain we are, as well as we can. The 0-1 from Faraday is fouled in and out of the glove of Hunter, or check that, Hernandez. Hunter at bat, both catchers. Having a word, Henry Hunter knows what that feels like. He's had a really good day, Hunter has. An RBI double in the 2nd and then a walk in the 4th. He came around to score on Joe Oyama's 2nd home run. And he's on deck. Nobody out. Tuft is on the move. Strikeout of Hunter. The throw down is inside the line. Tuft's going to go to 3rd as the ball trickles into center. Hunter strikes out for out number 1. But Colin Tuft makes stuff happen on the base paths. He moves to 3rd with 1 out.
Colin Tuft's a really fun player to watch. And if he can continue to get on base, he has good speed. Came into the night 2 for 2 on stolen base attempts. He's fearless, and he provides energy and good speed to a team that has the 2nd fewest stolen bases in the league, headed into tonight in Orleans.
Wareham is going to bring the infield in. Down 4, Joe Oyama coming to bat. Already has 3 RBIs on the night, looking for number 4. First pitch is fouled back.
All those runs driven in against the first pitcher in this game. And Koger faces another all-star in Faraday. Nobody's been able to stop Oyama, but a different look this time around.
With a runner on 3rd. Oyama already 2 home runs on the night. The 0-1 is popped foul in the air to 3rd base. Looking for it is Brooks. And he'll make the catch for out number 2.
It's a big out for Faraday, especially with Colin Tuft taking 2 bases and moving 90 feet away from home to get the out of Oyama and to bring up Drew Farreau, who's been quiet tonight, 0 for 3, to keep it where it is at 4 runs as the rain continues to fall.
Farrell batting from the left side once again. He's faced righties, and all 3 now, all 4 at bats on the ground to 2nd to Gonzalez, who boots it. Coming around to score is Tuft. Perot scores. Gonzalez has made errors at that second base position in Orleans this season. He had the error that started the rally for the Firebirds in their 7-6 walk-off win, which allowed Eddie King to score that game-winning run on the Johnny Olmstead single. So the Firebirds lead 8-3. 2 outs in the 6th. The rain's really coming down now. Everyone trying to move under cover. The batter is Jack Penny, and he'll take a strike.
It's funny, the last time Mike Hinojosa, a home plate umpire, umped the game for Orleans behind the plate, it was in the win against the Katua Cavaliers on July 16th, where weather also played a role.
And a good role for the Firebirds.
Yeah, the game nearly got called in the 9th inning because of lightning in the sky. Mike Roberts, Katuitt's manager, tried to call that game before his team eventually fell behind. Was unsuccessful. Hinojosa has proven before he's willing to hold out and see how the weather will play in effect.
An 8-3 ball game. Farrow's on the move. Hernandez's throw is in time and gets Farrow, but not before the Firebirds score another run. Dorian Gonzalez makes an error, which allows Colin Tuft to score. 2 errors for either team, but the Firebirds lead 8-3 as we go to the 7th.
At Curry, we'll meet you where you are and help you discover who you want to become.
Your attention please now. Pitching for the Firebirds from the University of Virginia, number 5, Chase Hungate.
Back here in a rainy Eldredge Park for the 7th inning. The end of the line has come for Derek Clark and the start of a new line for Chase Hungate. The righty out of Virginia will come in for his first time in 4 days to pitch for the Firebirds here in the 7th.
Yeah, what a great start for Derek Clark. He's proven he's more than just an all-star reliever, but could have been an all-star pitcher as a starter all summer long for Orleans. Finishes with 6 innings pitched, allowed 6 hits, 3 runs, none of them earned. All of them came in the 3rd inning, struck out 6, and only walked 1. 2 starts now for Derek Clark, 13 innings pitched, and only 1 earned run allowed.
He's been really good for this rotation that has seen names come in and out, some due to limits, some due to the draft. Derek Clark, no matter coming out of the bullpen or starting, has been so good. Chase Hungate will face 8-9-1 for this Wareham order, starting with Yadi Hernandez. The first pitch from Hungate, the sidewinder, is outside. Hungate in 11 innings this summer with the Firebirds has allowed 10 hits, 3 walks, and 7 strikeouts to a 4.09 ERA as he fires high. However, the numbers don't tell the whole story, and he's been a go-to guy out of this bullpen now and has earned that role.
His last appearance inflated that ERA.
The 2-1 is on the ground foul.
In his first 9 innings pitched this summer, Hungate only allowed 2 runs. Had 2 great performances in a row, both of them 3 innings pitched out of a bullpen and wins against Harwich and Katuitt. where he pitched 6 innings total and didn't give up a single run.
The 2-1 is a strike.
And then he ran into Chatham during the doubleheader on Friday. In the second leg of that doubleheader, Orleans won despite Hungate allowing 3 earned runs to the A's off 4 hits and 1 walk. A home run did Hungate in.
2-2 on the ground in fair territory this time. Jack Penny has a problem with it, but doesn't let it affect him. The throw is in time to retire Hernandez. And we talked about that Katua game where the rain played a problem for Mike Roberts, for the pitcher at that time, Ted Brennan. We couldn't grip the ball. This could be another situation where defenses, pitchers, maybe can't grip the ball as well with the rain.
You even saw it in the last half inning for Wareham's second baseman, Dorian Gonzalez. I know it goes down in the books as an error.
Foul ball.
But errors don't take into account field condition. And maybe Gonzalez just lost his footing. Maybe it was just a defensive mistake. Maybe it's because that infield dirt is getting a little wet, a little mucky. And Jack Penny had some problems fielding that ball there.
Corey Morton got hit with the pitch. He was skimmed right near his hands. He'll take first base as Hungate puts it a little bit too much inside. He reaches for the first time tonight with 1 out in the 7th. Rain can definitely play in effect. Hungate hits the batter Morton. It brings up J.C. Cologne for the 4th time. He's 0 for 3. Reached on an error and scored. Back in the 3rd. First pitch to Cologne almost hits him. Hungate not afraid to pitch inside to righties.
No, he's not. He's going to attack you. And it's up to you in the batter's box. See if you want to swing at it.
The 1-0 is called a strike. The rain has stopped. It's let up just a bit here from Eldredge. It's okay to go outside. Hungate has had a lot of ground balls. There's another one off the knob of the bat of Cologne. He didn't mean to swing. But Hungate, it's the benefit of the doubt and earns himself strike 2.
With a bullpen, like you said, that's gone through so many ups and downs this summer, Chase Hungate needs to pitch well in his final stretch for Orleans if they want to make a deep run.
Runner is off. Cologne to shortstop. Penny will take the out at first and get it. Moving to second is Morton.
You'll live with that if you're Orleans. Another solid play from Jack Penny with the wherewithal to know that he's not going to get the out at second after the runner took off. Trying to execute the hit and run. Cologne right into a ground ball. Big second out of the inning. You said it. That's Chase Hungate's specialty. It's not the strikeout numbers. It's not the velo. It's that pitch location on the inner half of the plate. It's going to jam up a lot of righties.
Bobby Bozer takes a strike at the bottom of the zone. Ian, right now in reliable arms in the bullpen, you have Sean Matson, of course, leading the charge as the closer. Chase Hungate as well has solidified his spot as a guy who can come out of the bullpen and get a ground ball. But who else in this bullpen can really step up and make a name for themselves?
Well, one guy who I think has already started to make a name for himself is Matthew Watson. Texas A&M Corpus Christi. He's pitched in 3 innings, only 3 innings, across 3 appearances, but he hasn't given up an earned run.
0-2's outside.
And he's come in a lot of big situations to get spot outs. And he's got starting experience at Texas A&M Corpus Christi, so he can give you some length as well. I think 2 names to watch out for are Carter Glassburn and also Colton Sunbloth, who have only made 1 appearance each for Orleans.
1-2 is pop foul. A lot of names in this bullpen where at the start of the season, you bring up those names now and it seemed like a fever dream. It's been so far and long ago. Chris Clark got drafted in the 9th round by the Angels. The 1-2, a swing and a miss. Hungate pitches a scoreless 7th, including a strikeout, and leaves Morton on second to keep Wareham at 3. Orleans up 5 as we stretch here at Eldredge.
It's time to get into the spirit, Cape Cod. And be it gardening spirit, summer fun spirit, or baseball spirit, the team at Agway of Cape Cod has you covered.
1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old home.
See you at Agway this season.
Parents down by the right field foul pole, make sure your kids do not go past that white line onto the grass. They should not be on the field in any way, even in foul territory.
Jack Penny will lead off the inning for the Firebirds in the bottom of the 7th after Take Me Out to the Ball Game was sung by some children along the first base line into the microphone. The 6th inning was a big one for the Firebirds, another run coming across on an error by Dorian Gonzalez at second, which allowed Colin Tuff to come around to score run number 8 to add just a little bit more insurance to this lead.
Firebirds offense that hasn't had a ton of hits today. Only 7 compared to 6 from Wareham. But it doesn't really matter how many hits you get in the game. It matters how many times you come up in big spots and drive in runs. Yesterday we saw it. 10 hits against YD, no runs to show for it. This is a game Orleans needed offensively.
Penny with a double, multiple extra base hits, like you said, 2 home runs by Joe Oyama, a home run by Eddie King Jr. And now after Drew Farrell reached on an error, every single Orleans batter in this lineup has reached base. 0-1 is low. And I know it's against maybe not the best pitching staff in the league, the Gatemen, who have struggled all year on the mound with their arms. But what type of confidence can this bring to an Orleans lineup that didn't have a greatest week last time, but now as season comes through a halt with just 9 more games? How can you build momentum going into the playoffs?
I think this is a huge offensive performance because the 5-game stretch that the Firebirds have had, the offense has left a lot of base runners stranded and has lacked the big hit. But tonight, it's been a different story, and I think it's also important because Wareham has somewhat had Orleans' number this season. The Gatemen 2-1 against the Firebirds headed into tonight, including a walk-off win in Wareham 2 weeks ago. It's summer ball, I understand, but Orleans wants this one.
3-1 is fouled away. A collection of guys who, from day one, our sideline reporter Sammy Miller asked then second baseman J.D. Urso, what is your goal for this summer? It wasn't a personal goal. It was, we want to win a championship. 3-2, chopped foul, first base side. Now, Urso has moved on and is now transferred to Ole Miss. Congrats to him. But no matter which player you ask, whether it's their first day or their 50th day, everyone has the same goal.
This is a Firebirds organization as a whole that has been dying to get another championship here in Orleans. And I mean it so wholeheartedly. This team's got an opportunity to make a deep run in the playoffs.
Full count pitch on the ground to Gonzalez. Has got another try, and he makes good of it for the first out of the inning in the 7th.
Orleans needs 2 more wins to clinch a playoff spot. A win tonight would be massive against Wareham to get back to 500. Tomorrow, heading into an off day on Thursday, I don't want to say it's a make or break game, but that could give you a ton of confidence playing a really good Falmouth team on the road. Not looking too far ahead, but that's a really big game.
Got to win tonight Falmouth tomorrow, and then the off day on Thursday before a doubleheader. Well, in a few ways. You know, we have to resume the first game against Chatham, which starts in the 4th inning. 1-0 count, swing and a miss. It's in the 4th inning of a game that's the score is 5-5. Chatham has the bases loaded. In a full count, 2 outs. So a little bit of suspense to start off the day. And then another 9-inning game right after that one. The 1-1's outside to Hallback. Reached on a hit by pitch in the 3rd. 0 for 2 on the day. So a lot of games coming up. 9 games in 9 days for the Firebirds. 2-1, cold strike.
I'm interested to see how that first game against Chatham, the resumption of the game played earlier in the month at Veterans Field, is played out at 5 o'clock on Friday night. Grayson Carter on the mound in that situation. Does Kelly Nicholson keep it with him and maybe pitch him a few innings?
2-2's outside. Carter has started for this Firebirds team, most notably against Chatham on Friday in Game 2. You know, if he doesn't pitch today and he doesn't pitch tomorrow, then you know, one more game. Chatham, he can definitely go in and toss a few innings. It would be big if he could throw 3 to 4 innings. Hallback gets a hold of this one to the right center field gap. He gets down for a base hit and 2 hops to the track. Hallback to second. He's going for third. The throw to third is not in time. A triple for Matt Hallback. Second triple on the summer for Matt Hallback. He stands at third with 1 out in the 7th.
Hallback doing his best Joe Oyama impression. The king of the triple, who set the single-season Firebirds 3-bagger record with 6 against Hyannis on Thursday. Hallback, underrated speed. Just a well-hit ball into the gap in right center.
Micheletti Jr. into the sky. Does it stay fair? Still curling. It is foul. Oh, man, he hit that one a long way, but just to the right of the foul pole in right field.
Those are the moments Micheletti has dreamed of for years, ever since watching Firebirds games as a fan when his parents rented a house here on the Cape since he was 7 years old. He's already got a couple home runs from Eldredge this year, but to provide a dagger in front of a packed house would be pretty fun.
Left to head back to the box. The 0-1 is low. We'll see if Micheletti can drive in this run from third. He's got 14 RBIs on the season. Infield in for Wareham. 1-1 goes to the backstop, and in comes Hallback. A high fastball that got away from Faraday off the glove of Hernandez. Make that 9 for the Firebirds.
Faraday with a self-inflicted wound. That pitch way too high for Hernandez to snag. Hallback with the great base running. That would not have been a run if he just settled for a double, which probably nobody would have blamed him for. But he hustles the third, and he scores on the wild pitch.
Very similar to the Colin Tuft run. Micheletti goes the other way. Will it stay fair? It does not. Colin Tuft, who was on third base, he stole second base, and the throw went into center, moved over to third. Farrell put it in play. An error by Gonzalez allowed Farrell to reach and Tuft to score. It means so much to take that extra base, Ian.
Base running for Orleans this season, I'd say overall has been pretty good. I know they don't steal a ton of bags as a team overall, but good level of understanding when they need to stretch it into one more base and knowing when they can just settle for 1 or 2. Very disciplined in that regard.
Have not been thrown out on the bases a lot this season, which are now empty. With 1 out, 2-2 the count. Micheletti a little check swing, chopper to third. Brooks will field, will throw. It's low, it's scooped, he's out. Micheletti thrown out at first base. Hussey with the scoop after Brooks makes a strong throw. Micheletti didn't agree with the call, and that just shows the fire that he brings in. Even though they're up 6 in the 7th inning against Wareham at home, he still wants every single call.
You know, our writer Brendan Nordstrom did an awesome profile on Eddie Micheletti, which you can find on the Orleans Firebirds website. And Kelly Nicholson, the 18th year manager of his team, dove into the fire that Eddie Micheletti plays with. Obviously a lifelong Firebirds fan, he cares so much about this opportunity. Compared Micheletti to the great Pete Rose in the regard of how they play the game, the passion in which they play the game with.
1-0 to Eddie King is a strike.
That's not an easy compliment to get, especially from somebody in Kelly Nicholson who cares so much about the character of the guys who come into this team. That is the highest of a high in terms of compliments from Nicholson.
1-1 is low. I mean, with how Eddie Micheletti comes to the plate, his contact rate, continuing to put the ball in play any chance he can get. I'm not sure 4,200 hits is in his future in the MLB. But he swings the bat in the similar way and has a similar mindset at the plate as some of the all-time greats when it comes to hitting.
The full quote from Nicholson. You can see it after he hits a home run or after he scores a run. He gets fired up. It's high energy. It's passionate. He's got a little Pete Rose in him. So not necessarily the Pete Rose the player, although Eddie Micheletti, a very good player in the heart of this order.
2-2 is fouled away, almost hit Joe Oyama.
Got to protect him at all costs. But the big thing is it's the person with Eddie Micheletti that is going to make the difference in this clubhouse, has made the difference in this clubhouse. One of the culture guys that has really glued this team together as the season has gone on.
2-2 is high. I think it's so interesting how Kelly Nicholson built this team. So much contact, so much bat to ball, and not a lot of strikeouts. I mean, you see it again tonight. Wareham, the pitching staff, only with 2 strikeouts as we sit here in the 7th inning. The full count pitch is fouled back. And I think that proves big. I think when you have a team that maybe hits a little bit more home runs, I know Orleans is not, in the top 3 in terms of getting the ball out of the ballpark. But they play small ball so well, and that's really been helping the offense.
It's an Orleans team that came into the game tied for 6th league-wide in homers with 20. That number now up to 23 after 3 home runs tonight, including 1 from Eddie King.
Full count pitch, swing and a miss. Faraday with a strikeout to end the inning, but not before Matt Hallback comes around to score on a wild pitch after he tripled with 1 out. 9-3, Orleans leads as we go to the 8th here at Eldredge.
At Del Mar Vacations, we believe that every moment spent on Cape Cod is a memory waiting to happen. Book a stay with us. And when you're here, why not enjoy the excitement of a Cape Cod Baseball League game? Del Mar Vacations proudly partners with the Cape Cod Baseball League, where you can watch the future stars of tomorrow play today. Whether you're seeking a family getaway or an adventure-filled escape, Del Mar Vacations has the perfect home for you. Book your dream vacation today and discover the beauty of Cape Cod. Del Mar Vacations and the Cape Cod Baseball League, your ticket to an extraordinary getaway.
For the Firebird Squeaky Toy, 062-422, 062-422. For the Skimboard, 861-535, 861-535. And for half the money, oh, so close. The winner going home with $957 tonight. 362-943. 362-943. If you have that number or any of the other numbers I just called, go to the 50-50 table behind the home dugout.
Back here in the 8th of a 6-run game, the Firebirds, who have scored in all but 1 inning. 9 runs in a big offensive explosion for Orleans. Chase Hungate back to the mound in the 8th after he went 1, 2, 3, 4 in the 7th. Just 1 runner allowed on a hit by pitch. Michael Brooks, the righty out of Kansas, takes inside for a ball.
Getting back to that point we were talking about towards the end of last inning. It's a Firebirds offense that
on the ground to third. Stallman gathers it, throws across the diamond for the out.
It's a Firebirds offense that puts the ball in play early and often. You mentioned small ball. Third fewest strikeouts in the league headed into tonight. Also the fewest walks, which I think is kind of interesting, a parallel there. Meanwhile, Wareham towards the top in the league in both strikeouts and walks. Not necessarily working for their offense as of late.
Let's see what type of baseball works as a strike is fired to Grant Sherrod. Defensive change for the Firebirds in left field. Fenwick Trimble takes over for Eddie Micheletti. Everything else stays the same. The 0-1 is outside. Henry Hunter wanted to check. Mike Hinojosa said he didn't go. And we don't need to check. Sherrod goes the opposite way. It's curling foul, and it'll land at the base of the hill and go into a crowd of children who get a souvenir.
3 straight road games for Orleans after today. This is a great crowd, one of the best of the summer. But you go at Falmouth tomorrow, off day Thursday, then a doubleheader at Chatham. Another great place to play, Veterans Field, on Friday. Orleans, they want to stay at second in the East Division, because if they do, they would host a playoff series in just about a week's time.
Wouldn't that be a sight? The 1-2 on the ground. One hop to Oyama and thrown over to first for the out. Chase Hungate has retired 4 in a row. In the bullpen for Orleans, Sean Matson was getting warm. He hasn't thrown in a while since Saturday at the All-Star game. He did throw an inning. He hasn't pitched Sunday, Monday, and now tonight he might throw. It wouldn't take him out of the question to throw again tomorrow against Falmouth, and then the off day Thursday for the Birds. 2 outs. Lefty Hussey comes to the plate. 1 for 3 on the night. A single in his last at-bat in the 6th. The 1-0 is outside from Hungate, who's been really efficient. 5 outs recorded and 24 pitches thrown. He gets a lot of early strikes. He gets a lot of early swings. All of them, or most of them at least, on the ground. 2-0 is outside.
I think we kind of underrated Chase Hungate coming into this process as a midseason addition for this Firebirds team. You look at his numbers over his sophomore year at Virginia, they don't look unbelievable overall. A 5.80 ERA in 16 appearances.
A 4-pitch walk to Hussey.
He'll try to come back after that 2-out free pass, but the end of this season was a little difficult. He had a 2.75 ERA in his first 11 appearances of the year for Virginia. That's a great team, playing really good teams. The ERA blew up over his final 4 appearances. He gave up 7 earned runs in just his final 2/3 innings pitched of a regular season.
First pitch fouled at the plate by Barham Holt. Hot. Check that. Hot. An interesting last name. We haven't seen someone named Cold. We haven't seen someone named Warm. But a guy named Hot, his first game as well.
Let me tell you, I was hot today out to lunch. We should not have sat outside at the rail.
Went to the rail in Orleans. And what was the food of choice?
You know, our social media advisor, intern, whatever you want to call him, Lucas Smith, recommended I eat the cinnamon toast pancakes. Unfortunately, his text came in just after I put in my order. So I went with the spicy chicken and pancakes, also really good.
0-2, another foul ball at the plate off of Hot. Hit him in the box. You got the chicken and pancakes. I've heard of chicken and waffles, but now they're putting chicken and pancakes together.
Not much of a difference, I'd say. I'm a pancakes guy over waffles. I'll eat either. But kind of to play off Hot's last name, way too hot outside to be eating spicy chicken with pancakes.
He must have been sweating. The 0-2 is a pop-up in the infield in foul territory. Hallback makes the catch. Hungate with another strong inning in the 8th. keeping Wareham at bay. We'll go bottom 8, 9-3 Firebirds as they look to close this one out.
Dylan, see the score? Yeah. Let's go, Danny Burgess.
Your attention please now pitching for Wareham from Lenore Ryan University, number 54, Joshua Lanham.
New pitcher for Wareham as they look to record 3 outs here in the bottom of the 8th. The Firebirds look to come to bat and hope that it's their last time to bat tonight as they're up 9-3. Stallman is the batter, the lefty out of UNC Charlotte, against Joshua Lanham, the righty hurler. In his second appearance for Wareham, the first one did not go too well. 2/3 of an inning pitched against Brewster 6 days ago. 3 hits, 3 earned, 2 walks. Not even a hit allowed.
It's always tough to make your debut in a Cape Cod Baseball League, but Lanham has got it done in numerous spots in multiple good leagues.
Lanham gets the strikeout of Stallman on 3 pitches. The righty out of Lenore Ryan University is the all-time strikeout record at the school. 293 strikeouts. He got it this season.
A veteran of the game. 4 years collegiately. First year here on the Cape. Spent last summer with the Traverse City Pit Spitters of the Northwoods League, where he was teammates with Derek Clark.
Yes. An interesting name, Pit Spitters. I wonder where that one comes from. Lanham comes over the top. Fires a fastball low. His best pitch is his changeup. That is his money pitch, his go-to pitch when he needs a strikeout. That's what he used on Stallman. Here's Colin Tuft. Tuft has had a good game. A single in the second as the motorcycles go by, and he launches it to left. Where will that one land? It's gone. A home run for Colin Tuft. Make that number 10. Orleans hits double digits as Colin Tuft launches it to left.
We've been waiting all summer long for Colin Tuft to break out, and tonight could be the night that we look back on and wonder, did that turn his season around? He's been excellent defensively. He runs the bases really well. But multiple hits for Colin Tuft tonight. A walk mixed in there, too. And a big home run late in the game. I know it doesn't do a whole lot to affect the final score. But Colin Tuft, with only a couple home runs to his name collegiately over 2 years at Virginia, showcases some raw power here.
a ball to Henry Hunter. This could be a big night, like you said, Ian. Colin Tuft really looking to cement himself as an outfielder that can start for this Firebirds team. Henry Hunter goes down by the strikeout.
I would totally agree. It's going to be difficult because how do you get all these guys playing time? That's the beautiful thing about baseball. You play every single night. Guys get tired. Guys need rest. You know, Eddie King has a great night last night. Colin Tuft has a good night tonight. But ultimately for Kelly Nicholson, it's a good problem to have. Multiple guys in the outfield hitting the baseball. Hitting it for average, hitting it for power. You can play with your lineup, give yourself some more options, and have a deeper offensive group overall heading into the postseason.
First home run on the season for Colin Tuft. Clocks in at, now I don't know if this is true, but TrackMan has told us that it's 313 feet. I'm not sure how that is possible. I mean, it's 310 and left down the line, but one looked a little bit more than a wall scraper. Fourth home run of the night for Orleans.
By the way, I don't know if you're still curious, but if we're talking about the Traverse City Pit Spitters, I found how they got their name.
Well, let's talk about it. 2-1 to Oyama. Is lined to right. He's already got two. Is this 1-3 at the wall? It's off the wall. Oyama to second. Just misses home run number 3. He'll take an extra base hit. A 2-out double in the 8th.
That one probably went more than 313. And if it was hit towards Colin Tuft's part of the ballpark, it would have been gone for home run number 3. I just think it's phenomenal that Oyama was hitting doubles, hitting triples all summer long. Took him all the way till last Friday in the doubleheader against Chatham to hit his first home run of the summer, and he nearly gets his third of the game. It's just funny. Baseball is a weird sport, as Kelly Nicholson and a lot of other people would say.
3 extra base hits for Joe Oyama tonight. 2 homers and a double. Like you said, Ian, that might have been his deepest hit of the night. To a right center field gap that is unforgiving to base.
That it is. 434 in dead center. You know, last night you play in Red Wilson Field, a boombox. Tonight you play in the polar opposite. That is Eldredge Park.
0-2 the count to Drew Farrow. Lefty goes down swinging to Lanham, who actually strikes out the side. 3 strikeouts, but mix in a home run by Tuft and a double by Oyama. Another run for Orleans. They're up 10-3 as they look to finish it out in the 9th. Chase Hungate to the mound for the final 3 outs. Derek Clark went 6. Chase Hungate looking for the 3-inning save as their Firebirds have a 7-run lead as we go to the 9th. Hungate back to the mound against Dorian Gonzalez, Yadi Hernandez, and Corey Morton for Wareham. Lefty Gonzalez into the box against Hungate, who's pitched 2 really good innings on just 30 pitches. No hits, 1 walk, and 1 hit by pitch, along with a strikeout. But Ian, let's get back to our Northwoods conversation about the Pit Spitters. How did they get their name?
Yes, the team that both Derek Clark and the pitcher last inning for Wareham pitched for the Traverse City Pit Spitters of the Northwoods League. So there was a contest in 2018 to determine the name of the team. It came down to the Black Pearls, the Dogmen, the Dune Bears, the Tree Shakers, the Sasquatch, and the Pit Spitters. Pit Spitters won out. Pit Spitters talking and reflecting on the amateur sport of cherry pit spitting, which is played during the annual National Cherry Festival in Traverse City.
I wonder how those rules work. Popped up by Gonzalez in foul territory. Stallman gives it a look, but he will run out of room.
The Wikipedia definition is definitely interesting, of cherry pit spitting, that is.
Go on.
Cherry pit spitting is the act of spitting or ejecting the pit, that is the seed, of a cherry from one's mouth with great speed.
2-2, a line drive into right for a base hit.
With great speed so as to send the pit a great distance. Spitting cherry seeds is an amateur sport. There are no known professional leagues of cherry spitters.
So they have a pit in their mouth, and it's measured by how far they could spit it?
Yes, the World Championship every year is played in Germany. Don't ask me why.
Interesting. And do we know a record? Like, what is good, what is bad for how long or how far someone can spit a cherry pit?
That we do.
Swing and a miss by Hernandez.
According to the Guinness Book of Records, the record cherry pit spitting distance is 28.1 meters. That's 93 feet, roughly. That was set 19 years ago by Brian Young Gun Krause. That was his nickname, Young Gun.
Young Gun, 93 feet?
93 feet, 6.5 inches.
Wow. Now, do they get a running start, or is it just stationary? You have to stand there. You have the pit in your mouth. The runner goes. Hernandez swing and a miss. The throw down is into center field. Gonzalez didn't see it in time. He'll stay at second. 1-2 the count with nobody out.
I have no idea to answer your question in terms of if there's a running start or not.
I don't know if they'd even give you any sort of advantage. I'm not really sure.
I wasn't good enough at science to tell you, velocity, launch angle, forward momentum. I don't know how that would be applied to this sport, this amateur sport.
Hungate against Hernandez, 1-2 the count. The pitch is popped up foul. So it's chosen that they would be the Pit Spitters. That was in 2018. What was their name before that? Because with those options, I'm pretty interested.
I have to look. I have to do more investigative journalism.
Ian's investigating. Baseball game's going on. The 1-2 on the ground, right back to Hungate. Looks at second, throws to first for the out. The throw to third is not made, as moving to third base is Gonzalez. Hernandez is the first out of the inning.
I figured out the answer. It's always been their name. The team was founded in 2018, so the Traverse City squad has, and hopefully, because it's a great name, always will be, the Pit Spitters. Derek Clark left his mark on that team for sure, and that's why he's here on the Cape.
A big part of this Firebirds team, of this now starting rotation as we get into the last few games of the regular season. Corey Morton swings through the first pitch by Hungate. Firebirds 2 outs away from winning and moving back to 500. Currently at 17 wins and 18 losses. In game number 36 of the season. 8 more to go after tonight.
This is a big bounce back for the Birds off the heels of 4 losses in their last 5.
0-2, right back to the mound. Pass Hungate, fielded by Penny. Throw to first. Not in time. Morton's speed beats out the throw. Scoring is Gonzalez. And the Gatemen are not done just yet. They put up a run here in the 9th. And to first is Morton.
Wareham, it's going to be tough sledding the rest of the way this season, given just how stacked the West Division is. Unless there's a miracle pulled off here in the 9th inning. Wareham came into the game already 9 points behind Bourne for 4th in the West Division. 8 out of the 10 teams in the league, 4 from each division, make the playoffs. Wareham very much in danger of missing the postseason for the second night in a row.
J.C. Cologne breaks his bat, fouls it off.
Meant to say they'd missed the postseason for the second year in a row. You know, it's getting late in the night. Sometimes facts go by the wayside.
Hungate still on the mound. Game that started at 6:30. Some teams are even moving up their start times because of the darkness that comes in a little bit earlier. Falmouth will still be at 6 tomorrow. We'll be on the air at 5:45 with the Scorching Start pregame show. And of course, because we have the time, make sure to watch and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Orleans Firebirds. Check out all our content, pregame show, postgame show, interviews, and all that is above. Cologne takes a strike, throw down to second, not in time. Wareham putting up a little bit of a fight here in the 9th as Morton takes second. Hungate looking to finish this game off with the Firebirds only throwing 2 pitchers, which would be huge going into tomorrow. A Falmouth team that'll face Jonathan Gonzalez, the projected starting pitcher for the Firebirds. Cologne into center. That one gets down for a base hit. Around third comes the runner, Morton. The throw in is not in time. Oyama keeps it. Wareham's putting up a fight and then some. Run number 5. Starting to get a little bit scary. Morton scores. Cologne is at first after an RBI single.
I believe the biggest comeback in Cape Cod Baseball League history, at least since the point streak era began in the early 2010s, was 5-run deficit, headed into the 9th inning. Hyannis pulled off a stunning come-from-behind win against Katuitt earlier this summer. This would be a bit of a bigger hole to climb out of for Wareham. And Chase Hungate pitching with a lot of comfort, knowing that he's got so much cushion here late in the game.
Sean Matson warming up in the bullpen just in case. Bozer takes outside for a ball. Hungate now up to 49 pitches on the night. Firebirds up 10-5 in the 9th. Looking to complete this game, looking to get out of here. Right back at 500. Strike by Hungate on the slider. The sun completely set, the sky completely black. 1-2 pitch is inside. The throw down to second. This one not in time again. The throw into center. And moving to third is Cologne. This has not been a clean 9th inning for the Firebirds at all.
No. And I understand summer ball, you came into this inning with a 7-run lead, but I know that all the coaches in that dugout understand how important it is to play a full 9 innings of baseball, especially for how good this game has been. You don't want to leave it on a sour note.
2-2 on the ground to second. Oyama gets his glove down in time and throws it to first for the out. That was not an easy play. Oyama almost got caught between the legs. Scoring their 6th run is J.C. Cologne. Bases empty. Firebirds up 4 in the 9th, and the Gatemen are down to their final out.
That's just what Joe Oyama does. He makes the difficult look easy. He's done it tonight with 3 extra base hits and 2 more home runs to give him 4 on the summer. That run was going to score either way, whether it got by Oyama or not.
First pitch swing is Brooks into center. That'll do it. Eddie King makes the catch, and the Firebirds win 10-6 over Wareham. Chase Hungate turns out the lights on the Gatemen as the Firebirds win number 18 on the season. They move back to 500 and finish this game off.
The number 10 has been an interesting one for the Firebirds over the last 2 days. 10 hits last night, 10 hits tonight, in 2 completely different results. You get shut out for the 3rd time all summer yesterday against the top team in the division in Yarmouth Dennis, 5-0. You had 10 hits, and you came away empty-handed. Tonight, against a team that walked you off a week and a half ago in Wareham. You put up 10 hits, but you put up 10 massive hits, including 4 that got over the wall. 2 from Joe Oyama. 1 3-run shot from Eddie King Jr. and Colin Tuft with his first home run of this summer in what was a really important night for him and an important night for this team. To get back to 500, to take down Wareham, split the season series against the Gatemen, and give yourself a ton of positive momentum offensively heading into what is going to be a difficult test on the road tomorrow against the Falmouth Commodores. You hit the reset button after a tough 5-game stretch, and you had a get-right game against the Gatemen team, which I hate to say it, has struggled to pitch all summer long, struggled to pitch tonight. The long ball is what cursed the Gatemen and what lifted Orleans to win number 18 on the year.
Don't go anywhere, because we have an interview coming up with a player. We also have scores from around the league. 10-6 win for the Firebirds before we get to anything else. And give us some updates, because I know the Harwich game is big in the minds of Firebird fans.
That it is. Headed into tonight, Orleans second in the East Division, Harwich third, just a point separating those two teams. And currently in the bottom of the 8th from White House Field, the Mariners trail the Braves 7-5. So Bourne trying to do Orleans a solid. Meanwhile, around the league, other scores. Final, Falmouth takes down Brewster 8-3. The Commodores go into tomorrow's contest with the Firebirds on a 3-game win streak. The Cavaliers, the top team in the league, the first to clinch a playoff spot, down Yarmouth Dennis in a battle of the 2 division leaders, 10-3 from Red Wilson Field. And then the other score from tonight from Veterans Field, still live. Hyannis leads Chatham 7-3 in the top of the 7th.
Those are your scores from around the league. 10-6 the final here tonight. 4 home runs for the Firebirds in a huge 10-6 win. Now, it wasn't the cleanest of wins. It wasn't perfect by any means. But when we're talking offensively specific, how important is this game as they go into the final 8 of the season?
Oh, it's huge. Again, this is a team that's won a lot of games this season, Orleans, that is, because of its pitching, right? Yeah, the pitching staff headed into tonight with the 3rd lowest ERA in the league. But if Orleans wants to make a championship run, wants to even give itself a chance to potentially win its first championship since 2005, what it needs to do is come up with timely hits and start to hit a few more home runs just to give this group some confidence. You can still roll into the playoffs relying on your pitching, although the pitching staff is expected to change a little bit here as the summer rolls on. But if you can get not only Joe Oyama rolling, but potentially an Eddie King or a Colin Tuft, 2 outfielders with a ton of athleticism, a ton of value on the defensive end, if you can get their bats hot, and you can get them to start hitting the home run here or there, driving in a run here or there, then you've got a team that, once again, will be seriously considered contenders, not only in the East Division, but in the Cape League overall.
And I think it's so important. Not only do the Firebirds finish off another win where they only use 2 pitchers, but the starting pitching has always ruled in any game of baseball, number 1. But Kelly Nicholson said it yesterday, it all starts with our starting pitching. And you go back to old Mr. Reliable today, and Derek Clark, he was incredible.
Derek Clark has been a revelation here on the Cape. 5'8", 185 pounds from Division II Northwood in Michigan. The story writes itself. The story has been written by Brendan Nordstrom, our writer. In fact, it's going to be released either tomorrow or the next day, so make sure to tune in to OrleansFirebirds.com because that story is going to drop. It's going to be fantastic. And luckily, Brendan is going to write it with confidence because Derek Clark just had another unbelievable start, once again cementing what he's done all summer. Started out of a bullpen where he gave his team long relief, got wins out of a bullpen, but now single-handedly winning this team games. It wasn't easy tonight. 3 runs against Clark, but all of them unearned. His defense committed multiple errors, probably missed a few plays, but they could have made as well if it weren't ruled errors. So the defense didn't necessarily help Derek Clark 100% tonight, but it didn't matter. Derek Clark continued to do what he does, and we'll see what he can do next week to close out the regular season. That's when he's expected to make one more start for this Firebirds team.
Yes, he'll be probably that last game of the season, like you said. 8 games to go for the Firebirds. They sit at 18-18 and a big win tonight, especially with Harwich down in that 8th inning, hopefully getting that 3-point advantage in the standings. YD clinched, Katuitt clinched. You look in the East Division because you have to get out of the East before you can even worry about the West. Where do you feel like the Firebirds stand right now when you look at the other 4 teams in the East Division?
I look at a team in the Firebirds that is playing very close, and they've got a ton of position players who are very tight with one another. Overall, I see a group that is rallied and is playing its best baseball right now. We're going to get Derek Clark in here for the post-game interview here on Cooling Down, and he can probably preach about just how good this group is gelled. He's about to chuck on the headset. He's tired. He's had a great night.
How's it going?
It's going well, Derek.
Go.
How's it going for you and your second start of the summer? How'd it feel out there tonight?
It felt good. I don't know if this is too close or not. There we go.
You're all good, man.
It felt good tonight. Felt like I was going to head a lot of early swings. Didn't really have a breaking ball tonight, so had to trust the changeup early. Figured it out late, so it was fun.
In these starts, when you can kind of work through those errors and understand sometimes you might have a pitch, sometimes you won't, how important is it to understand that your team's got your back and also your coaching staff has your back and lets you go out there and still go 6 despite you working through some issues?
Yeah, for sure. Just trusting my defense. You know, we have a really good defense, so get the ball to them, let them do their thing behind me. Me and Henry were really clicking, so it's really easy just to mow some people down when you and your catcher are going to work. So.
And how easy is it to do that when the offense has the night that it had tonight with 4 home runs?
It makes my life a lot easier. After that 3 spot there, I was like, we've kind of been struggling at the plate a little bit, but the guys figured it out. Had a really good night at the dish, and it definitely gives you some confidence for sure.
What has been the big thing for you this summer? I know you dominated last year in the Northwoods League. You've had a great 3 years at Northwood, now transferring to West Virginia. What has been the thing for you this summer to be at your best and to have that confidence for yourself?
Yeah, it's just telling myself that I can do it, having the confidence to go out there and do it night in and night out, and just being me. I don't need to be anyone that I'm not. I'm just going to be Derek Clark and do the best of my ability, and at the end of the day, the results are the results. So.
Derek Clark joining us on Cooling Down. Just a few more questions for you, Derek. Grant Hussey, your first time you face him tonight, your future teammate. You get to talk to him at all? Yeah,
a little bit. After he had that single to right, I was like, how'd you hit that, man? But he was like, dude, you've got me beat all night. I got one there. So, yeah, he's a good dude. I'm excited to meet the rest of the team. So.
I know you're excited to meet the rest of the team in early August, but how excited are you to close out this season with an Orleans team that back at 500 looking to make a deep playoff push?
I'm excited. We have a really good group. We've molded pretty well. I was a little skeptical coming here what it was going to be like, but, I mean, we have the best group of guys you can really have. So I'm excited to see what we can do, and if we get hot at the right time, I feel like there's not a lot of teams that can beat us.
And why do you think this team time and time again, even after the rough patches, even after dropping 4 of 5, is able to have performances like this where, you have 10 hits, you have 10 runs, and everybody's just having fun?
Yeah, I think it's just about being able to forget what happened the last couple nights prior, come to the yard every day, new focus, new mindset, just trying to go to work and do the best that we can do. Like I said earlier, at the end of the day, the results are the results. Just trust the work and trust the prep, and we're going to be just fine.
One last question for you. I saw that thing you did with Sammy, right, opening the bag, seeing what was in there. The golf ball in there.
Oh, yeah, the golf ball.
Golf ball, man.
So at school, we practice inside a ton at Northwood because it's so cold and so much snow. So the golf team would hit. I'm kind of chewing us out right now. So, but the golf team would hit balls into the divider, and they would get stuck up there. So when we would lower it for practice, there'd be 25 golf balls down there. So I had a couple in my bag. My roommates at school probably took them out of there. So I forgot it was even in there. I don't really use it. It's just in my bag.
It's a cool story.
Yeah.
And it's a cool journey for you. And
thank you.
It's so exciting that you've had the opportunity out here on the Cape to do your thing, do it out of the bullpen, and do it starting.
For sure.
Derek, another
awesome.
Great start for you tonight. Thanks so much for joining us on Cooling Down.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
All right. Derek Clark, another really good start as he heads out, and Dylan heads back into the frame. Derek Clark with the piece to the camera. It's just unbelievable what he's done this summer, Dylan. And who knows how much longer he'll be pitching for this team, because I know he has to report to West Virginia pretty soon because he's earned that opportunity to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But he said tonight he didn't even have one of his breaking balls working, but it didn't matter.
And I think his fastball was so good tonight, which is why it didn't matter. It moves so much, and batters continuously, time and time again, they can look at as much video, as much scouting reports as they want. It doesn't matter. Derek Clark has been so reliable for this team, and once again tonight, another great outing, 6 innings of 3-run ball where none of them were earned. He's just been unbelievable for this team since day one.
He's been unbelievable since day one. The second lowest ERA in the league headed into tonight. 6 more scoreless frames in terms of unearned runs from Derek Clark. And this is a group that has been through the ups and the downs. But now, Dylan, I guess the question is, in order to make sure that team Orleans, that is, doesn't fall back into the stretch that it had before tonight, what are the big things that you finally saw tonight offensively from the plate for the Birds?
I saw a lot of guys come through where it wasn't your usual 1-4 type of guys. I think that it was big night for Eddie King once again. 3 hits yesterday, a home run today, a 3-run shot. Colin Tuff gets in on the action with a home run in that bottom of the 8th inning as well, a moonshot to left field. Ian, we've talked about it in the past 3 days. It's almost like an audition for all these players because all of them have kind of been in the same level of production. Who can come through in the big spots? And as each game goes along, the stress picks up, the tension builds. As you know, each game means that much more. Who can come up big in those big spots, in spots 6 to 9 in the order? Who can play center field? Who can play right field? Other than the solidified spots, you talk about Jack Penny at short, Joe Oyama at second, Matt Hall back at first. You know the 2 catchers, they're going to rotate in and out. Eddie Micheletti in left or playing DH. Who else is going to fill out the lineup and come through on a consistent basis?
Tonight, it was a consistently dominant offensive performance as we head back to the field from Eldredge. You mentioned the tension high in these post-late game situations, this late season situation. The tensions were high between these 2 teams in the previous 2 meetups, a couple of walk-offs. Tonight, it was a one-sided affair. Wareham rallies late to make the score a little tighter than it is, 10-6. Dylan, a big win in an exciting game tomorrow against the Falmouth Commodores team led by Travis Pizzana from Oregon State. He is a fantastic player.
Oh, man. Cycle last time he was here.
Yes.
He leads that team. He came in mid-year, like you said, at Oregon State. Has a really interesting story out of Australia originally. But this Falmouth team is not one to scoff at. You can't play down to them. Firebirds actually got their first win out of 6 games back the first time we went to Gov Fuller Field early in the season. What was that, Game 7, Game 8? We haven't been there in a while, and we'll head over there tomorrow. 5:30 scorching start, 6 o'clock first pitch on the Birds Broadcast Network. On the radio tomorrow as well in Falmouth. Ian, before we go, we got to pay the bills.
Have to pay the bills after a day where Orleans delivered, cashed in on a lot of opportunities from the plate. Have to thank Mazzio Construction. Mazzio Construction LLC worked hard to build a resume for itself. Let them put their knowledge, experience, and passion together to work for you. Their team is committed to exceed your expectations. New home, addition to existing home, renovation, they handle it all. They work close with our clients to make sure that all their needs are met. They're honest, on time with schedule, and passionate about what they do. Give them a call. Let them introduce you to their work. Let's see how they can help you. Mazzio Construction, the official post-game sponsor of the Birds Broadcast Network.
10-6 final. Orleans wins. Everyone have a great night. At Falmouth tomorrow, 5:45 pregame.